Oh shit, I was muted. Hi. God. What? Hello. Hi. How's it going? How are we doing? Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Steve Says Shit Show. I am Steve, and this is my shit show. I quite like that. I came up with it on the spot, like quite just literally right now. How are we doing? How's everybody doing? What has been happening? Welcome to this stream. Today is a big deal for me. We're hosting a special edition of the Steve Says Shit Show. And today's special guests are Potato Juice TV and the Sassy Unicorn. The point of today's big event is, well, is just I wanted to do something good around India's Independence Day, which is today, and we're gonna get together, do some fun things, talk about content, and about things that are important to us. I'm very excited to be here to be able to do this. It's a very big deal for me. Like I said, I feel like I have this platform where I talk about all of these exciting things. Why not use that platform to talk about things that are important to me as well? You know, outside of just gaming, outside of just whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so enough riff raff, enough dilly dallying. I think our guests are ready. They are here. They're excited to be here. We have two guests today. We were supposed to have a couple of more guests, but last minute things happen and things fall out of the cracks, I suppose, and we're not able to do the things that we want them to. However, we're not going to let that deter us, are we? There we go. That looks really cool. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
I'm doing good. What's up with you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Let me quickly adjust your volume levels for a second. There we go.
Yeah,
That should be
sure.
better.
Hey, chat.
There we go. All right, perfect. So,
Cool.
why don't you tell us about yourself? Let's start with that.
Myself.
Yeah,
Okay. I go by Potato Juice on stream. Uh, I don't want to reveal my real name.
understandable.
Okay. I mean, yeah, if I'm comfortable enough, I'll say it. But yeah, for privacy reasons, obviously, like, like there have been, like, people targeting streams and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. Yep.
I stream a lot of variety games. And more about myself, I currently work as a CXM agent. What else is there? I graduated from college like this year, and I don't know much about myself. What else is there? I play a lot
That's
of variety games. Yeah, that's it, I guess.
that's perfect. That's great.
Cool.
So the name Potato Juice is kind of interesting. What is your logic behind picking that?
Yeah, so like if like there's like a meme app called 9gag, and
Mhm.
then there's like some meme about like everything being juices and stuff. So I was like, oh, yeah, I like vodka. Vodka is like literally potato, and like potato juice. It's like that's how it came. So just random thing, and I just named it potato juice.
I love it.
Like I wanted a unique name.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. That is
But
hilarious.
yeah, I don't drink anymore. I'm sober by the way.
Well, it makes sense. I don't drink either. I never really got into it. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
I just never really had the urge to or the desire to drink. So I
Yeah.
never
No,
really yeah. I think for me it was more like I never really got into it, like, you know, because of family stuff, because of whatever else. Like I grew up um with a drunk grandfather, so like it never really whatever to me. So I figured it was always never really gave it a shot or whatever because I didn't want to end up like him. That was basically just it.
yeah. So like for me, drinking, it's just like I didn't start because I want to get drunk, but
Mm,
peer pressure, like you wanted to be cool person. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
a cool
yeah.
guy. Yeah, I get drunk, I smoke, I do that shit. And then yeah, later on I realized, yeah, this is, I mean, doing stuff for people to like impress people, yeah, not the best shit. I've been through bad shit. Like for example, I've been through like meth abuse. So I realized a lot of things from that. So that's why I'm sober now. I
Mm.
do smoke up now and then, but not like meth or like any hard drugs. But yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah,
I think this is what I like. This is what I like. We can talk about these things as openly as possible on the internet because
yeah.
we have a
It's
platform. Two,
Twitch.
nobody knows who we really are. So
Yeah,
so we have that we have that double privilege of just being able to express ourselves, be who we are, and just vibe. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Uh,
yeah. For me, it's just the being like pansexual, like the thing that I can open up to my parents, but my parents know about my like, drug abuse and shit because like they've been with me, like and they've supported me, like not like disown or like unlike other Indian parents. Even if I like open up to them, they might accept me, but like again, it's still a scary thing. You understand that, right? Like in
yeah, yeah.
Indian households, yeah.
Sorry, I've heard from my producers that our second guest is available now, so we're going to quickly drag them in.
Hi,
Hi,
How's it
how are we
going?
doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Chilling
We
out.
are producers. The shit fancy. It is very fancy. Yeah, we have a bunch of producers and developers. It is like a proper talk show, right? It's the Steve Says Shit Show. So it has to be a shit show, and it has to have shit producers. So we anyway. I'm going too much into it. But hi, Unicorn. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm sorry I was late. How are you guys?
How dare you have IRL important stuff to do during I couldn't even finish that with a straight face. God damn it.
I wasn't expecting that stuff to happen today.
It is
It just,
perfectly fine.
yeah, thank you.
God damn. Okay, all right, we're gonna start with basics. How about you tell us and the rest of chat about yourself? Let's start with that.
Hi, I am the sassy unicorn, not to be confused with other sassy unicorns. Um, uh, But okay, so apart from gaming, like I live stream gameplays. Apart from gaming, I enjoy reading and I'll be pursuing my master's in mental health counseling. So that's like a little bit about me. I'm usually a very chill person, so and I'm bi. So yeah, I think like that's the context that's supposed to be
Hmm.
here.
Valid, very valid. Uh, so I wanted to know what is the logic, what is the reasoning behind your. I know I've asked this to you before in your chat, but like I would like everyone else to know why the sassy unicorn? What is the reason behind that?
Okay, so it actually comes from two nicknames that I got IRL. So my best friend was like, "Okay, you're too sassy for your own good." So that's where sassy comes from. And unicorn because somebody I was seeing was like, "Oh, you're like a magical person because some weird shit would happen when I would be there," which would be really against the odds. So I was sassy unicorn and like, I think it was some numbers in front of it, and I was like sick and tired of the numbers. So I decided to, put I reverse Facebook this shit because there was
Hmm.
so many sassy unicorns. So yeah.
I love that story. When you said that that's someone you were seeing called you unicorn, that kind of I thought it was going to be like a red flag story because there is the term unicorn in like swinging culture is referred usually to to someone who's looking for couples to hook up with
Yeah,
and
I
and
realized that after I kept this name, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go along with it.
no, I thought that when you were talking about an ex, right? I thought that would be like the story, and you're like, it's gonna be like, oh fuck you, but I'm gonna keep the name because despite of you or whatever. But I'm glad that it's a happy story and it's not a shitty story.
Happy story. Like till the time I realized what unicorns actually mean in like, swinging culture, I was like, okay, you know what? It's a mythical animal. Why the fuck not? And I love animals, so
Yeah, exactly.
that's also a part of it. M- But I realized it later, and I'm like, you know what? Let anybody think what they want to think. People are going to say shit either way.
Yeah. But
So yeah,
I love that. I love unicorns as well. Like, just rainbows and like, sunshine and daisies and like all the nice positive shit, right? And why not be associated with that nice shit? Like, why, if you like that, if you like that, and it's part of who you are, then own it, right? Who cares? Who cares what other people think as long as you like the name? That's
definitely.
yeah, and
I
that's
have
how I feel about New World. By the way, fuck off, Roy. Uh, anyway, I've been playing New World, which is the side whatever to it. I recently just bought it. I know, like 8 months too late, the game is dead, whatever, make your jokes. But I love it, and right? But everybody I see, they make jokes about it all the time. They call it old world, they call it a piece of shit, they call me an idiot for buying the game at full price when it was on sale 4 times, but every time I wanted to buy it on sale earlier, they kept bullying me into not buying it. So so I know it's not related to like the queer topic we're talking about, but I just want to address that. Roy is a piece of shit, and New World is a very good game. I want to have that on the record.
I think we could like, clip it later on and keep that permanently on the record.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And also like I have this very like a unicorn that's actually almost my height, like a stuffed toy unicorn. And I have
Thought you
like
had a beard.
unicorn. No. I mean if I dress my dog up like a unicorn, I don't know if that would count because I'm like pretty tiny.
That would.
And but yeah.
So I realized that I did not tell the story, but then again, I think I've talked about it like a million times. So I'm going to speed run this, but since we're talking about stories behind usernames, why not? Uh, I talk about mine as well, right? So funny story. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't wear pants. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm very sassy. I needed an S name as a filler because I didn't want to create an account with the Steve name because my original plan was to stream under Steve, right? That's the name that I use on the internet. It's going to be Steve H 4815 like my Twitter or my Instagram. But I decided I would have a filler, so I would just I would use that filler for a few couple of months, get to know people on Twitch, and then create a new account, which was the Steve account, which was where I would stream from. But I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else. I just was like, I need an S name because I wanted it to be S because my real name also starts with S. Everybody in my family has S names, so I figured S. What can I do with S? Sassy pants. Okay, great. 1996 is the year I was born, so that is it. That is literally just it. I picked the name, stuck with it for 2 months, and then when I decided to start streaming, which was like July first week, right? I was on Twitch for like 2 months before that. But when I finally decided to start streaming, I was like, okay, I think I'm a little too attached to this name. So I kept it. It was literally just that. I kept it. And then around the name, I started to build the lore, where uh, I'm a faceless streamer who doesn't wear pants, or I'm like the best faceless and pantsless streamer from India. Because if that's, and I think I feel like that's the marketing degree at work where you use the resources at your disposal to create lore for your benefit, and that's basically what it's become at this point. And I love it. I love sassy pants. I love being Sir Pants or Pantsless or Pants Boy or the Sass Man or whatever the fuck else people call me, because I don't know, it just gives me so much joy. And that's the whole point of this shit, right? We talk about things that we like, and we do things that we like because why wouldn't we uh, do things that bring us joy, especially when there are so many things in the world that get kind of get us all fucked five ways from Sunday, because that's just how the world works. So yeah, I know I said it was going to be a short story, but not my stories are really short. So.
No, it was actually a good one. For a second I thought you name yourself Sassy Pants because your pants were too sassy and they ran away from you because you kept emphasizing on the fact that you're like a pantsless streamer.
That is also very good lore. I could use that somewhere. I don't know where.
You have to give me credit for that, by the way. I'm just letting you know. Or else
I
DMCA coming for your ass.
I will think about it. So you mentioned, and like obviously we're all content creators here. So tell us what made you want to start streaming or just start creating content? What was the yeah.
I'm not gonna be like I'm like a perfect. I see. Obviously, I started streaming to become famous. I'm not gonna say like lie. Okay, I love to play
I
games.
I love that. I love that
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
I'm gonna be honest. Okay.
That has to be a clip.
Yeah. So, but then gradually, like once I started enjoying, vibing with the chat and stuff, and I gradually started liking streaming more than like becoming famous. for now, like for me, I'd rather have, like 10 active people in the chat than all the money. It's like streaming for me, it's like an unwind session for me. It
I feel
helps me
that.
like, unwind and chill out, have people who understand me, like, people who think like me, because I have people who think like me in the chat. So yeah, obviously I like, yeah, like started to like, started streaming, so I was like, I want to become like ninja or like that's like something somebody famous. But yeah, that didn't work out obviously. But yeah, gradually I started loving streaming, and I now stream for the heck of it, not just to unwind.
Mm. I like that.
Yeah,
Um, it makes sense, like as long as you, I feel like a lot of people think of it as like, um, if you say that you are doing it to be famous, oh, immediately your intentions are impure and you don't want to do it. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Like
true, totally true.
everybody does something for a reason, right? As
Yeah,
long as your reasons are solid and you have a solid foundation for what your reason is,
yeah,
who fucking cares why you're doing it? As long as you're doing it and you're having fun while doing it.
yeah. So
So
that's what
so
I always say on chat too. Like,
yeah.
for example, when I stream, I see money, getting money from streaming is important actually. Like in terms of like, it being viable.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it eats a huge chunk of my salary, like to keep up streaming, I don't feel like that's. I mean, see, I don't want to like make me live off streaming, but
Mm-hmm.
rather at least I make it viable in terms of financially, and it doesn't burden me financially. Then it's fine.
Exactly. Same.
I'm
So
not going
that
to be like a saint and say no, I don't want money. Like that. Yeah, money like important, but yeah, something's more important. Like there are more important, like more important things. That's it. You can't say money is you don't need money or like anything like that. Yeah,
fair enough. I get that. So
yeah,
so I talk about this a lot on my stream as well. Well, I mean, we're on my stream. Like I talk about this a lot in the sense that how when I first started streaming, it was always supposed to be about. Um, I didn't really have like a plan in place. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, except that I wanted to play Assassin's Creed, and I didn't want to play it alone, so I was
yeah,
going to stream it. That was it. That was the whole thing, and it spiraled into this thing where I've been here for a fucking year at this point, and I genuinely feel like I could not have made a better decision. The last year ish has been the happiest year of my life. It's been to today is actually 11 months ish to the day, 13 months ish to the day since since I hit affiliate. So it feels like a big deal to me, but it also kind of sometimes feels like um, I wish there are things that you wish you were told when you first started, things that people could have told you, or things that um, you wish. You could have learned and all of that shit. It's yeah. So
yeah. True.
I don't know where I was going with that, but basically the reason why I personally decided like, hey, you know what, we're gonna start streaming. I
Yeah,
just didn't really have anything else. I wanted to do something with content since I was 16, and I always kept putting it off because I didn't have the resources, didn't have the money, didn't have whatever else that I needed to be able to make it viable, to be able to like either not have the space, not have a PC, not have
yeah,
um, million of other things, um, but I feel like I finally got to a point where I could afford something. I got like a big tax refund. I had some money saved up, and I splurged. I bought a PC. I decided to give it a shot, and I think, like I said, it's been an absolute incredible ride. Sure, there's ups and downs, and there's more downs than ups, like we talked about earlier. But it's always it's always good to hear different perspectives on from different people.
yeah,
Okay, so this is not like oh my God, I like entertaining people kind of a story.
Hmm.
I'm sorry for like anybody with high expectations, but basically, I started playing games. I got my own system, and somebody joked around me, like a friend of mine was like, "Okay, why don't you stream? It'd be fun." And I just went with it. I was like, "Why the fuck not?" Asked two other friends, and they were like, "Sure, go for it." So yeah, that's just it. It started as a joke.
I love that.
mm,
I love that so much. But you just did it because you wanted to be famous. You did it because it
yeah,
was a joke. I did it because I wanted to play Assassin's Creed with other people. I love it. I love it. I love that. It's just different experiences, but like they've all brought us together on this platform to be just part of this, whatever this is. It's pretty cool. I love that. It is very, very wholesome.
Yeah.
Also, can you give us an update on like when your next stream will be, Unicorn?
Oh, okay. So, okay, so I am moving to New York and like finding a real estate there is a bitch. I
Valid.
can curse here, right?
Yeah, of course. You can say
Okay.
shit, fuck, whatever you want here.
It's family friendly stream.
Like I have age restricted my channel the moment I realized I was saying fuck shit, and I saw like a 7-year-old wanting to play Apex with me. I was like, fuck no.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh,
So I was like, I just wanted to
yeah.
ensure. Yeah. So I think I'll get back to streaming from October 1st because I have a temporary place right now, which has its own setup, and I cannot like mess around with that too much.
Hmm.
So I'll like fix my new setup over there and just start it in October. I think in the meantime, I might start like movie nights on my Discord. So if anybody wants to connect with me, you know what you have to do. Just join the Discord.
That's pretty
Shameless
cool.
promotion.
I love it. So how is it going though? The whole New York thing.
Oh God.
Right?
Okay, so I kept procrastinating moving. Like something or the other kept happening. Um, I just got into an internship, which is very rare. Like my program hasn't started yet, and I got like two offers, so I had to reject one and select one, and do all of that shit. And I kept procrastinating the packing. So my packing got finished like 2 hours ago, and I have to leave tomorrow, and day after
Oh
tomorrow is my
shit.
flight.
Oh shit.
So that's how close I've been cutting it. I still have to like recheck everything and ensure that all of my documents are on me.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, but I most probably have it because I've been planning to pack for 2 months now.
I had no idea that you were leaving this soon. Like I thought that you would be here another couple of weeks or whatever. Because
No, no, no.
yeah, because like
Actually, my college starts like August 22nd. So I'm even cutting it close over there.
fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Oh, very. Like, 6 years ago, I got this like keychain when I visited New York as a tourist. Thought
Hmm.
it must be nice living there. Wasn't sure if I'd even go to the United States. My plan was to stay in India and go for civil services at that time. And that was like 6 years ago. So, you never know where life takes you.
Uh, let's talk about your first experiencing queer content. How how did that go?
Okay, content. So like, see, for me, okay, content. Like, see, I used to like not watch live streams on like Twitch, but YouTube,
Hmm.
and there, if you know, like being pure and like open is like very tough being there. So, like for example, like Indian audience, right? Like mostly on YouTube, it's kids. So I was like, even like having access to queer content was like very less since like I was not aware of Twitch because I used to use what's called YouTube more than Twitch. And so like one of my friends is like, so I'm open with one of my friends. He's a close friend. Only he knows in terms of my friend circle. So he's like, bro, if you want like like if you want to talk about like your content, like talk about your sexuality, there are streamers that are open to talking about that, knowing like if you want to explore like in discords and stuff. It's like I was not used to Discord, and so that's when I started checking out Twitch. It's like even I was like I want to make content but be more open and talk about all this stuff. So that's when I started exploring Twitch, and I was like, so it's like a life changing thing. It's like it was on Twitch that I found people being really open,
Hmm.
unlike on YouTube where the audience, even if you are like a pansexual or like an LGBTQ member of LGBTQIA community, being open on YouTube is a scary thing.
Yeah.
And if anybody who uses YouTube, you might know that, like especially Indian audience, it was really toxic. And so yeah, on Twitch, finding that on Twitch, it was a really life changing moment, because like I was able to connect with most streamers who are like allies and friendly with being LGBTQ content, and open with like talking to sexuality and everything. So it was actually life changing, like finding Twitch.
Mm.
And Twitch was where like I could be myself rather than act like a different person, and like not talk about what I feel like. Even like there have been like instances on YouTube where they will talk in a homophobic manner, but I want to intervene. But then if I do intervene, it'll be like they'll start targeting me.
Mm.
So yeah, and yeah, finding Twitch was like actually like an amazing moment for me, and I was like able to find like a lot of content creators that are like doing charities for, like, for example, LGBTQ organizations like Trevor Project. Even I did a charity stream. And I think, yeah, I did like around $300 like charity for them,
That's
raise for
cool.
them. Yeah, that was like way back when, like, I used to be very active on Twitch. So yeah, Twitch, finding like queer content was like an amazing part of my life, because I was able to discover a lot about myself too, unlike where on like on YouTube or like even in terms of friends, I couldn't even talk to my friends about this because I know my friends are homophobic.
Mm.
And that's when I gradually started cutting off with people like these and being like alone. It was like I knew these guys wouldn't accept me if I was myself. Get that feeling, right? And
Yeah.
like which was where I could be myself and find like-minded people. Yeah.
That that makes sense.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I feel like it's very very wholesome to know that your experience on Twitch has been a lot better than your experience on YouTube, where you've been
Yeah.
able to find so many creators and find your girlfriend. That's pretty cool, man. I feel like it's very it's like very weird whatever stuff around dating on the internet, and especially on a platform like Twitch where it's very easy to form parasocial relationships and shit.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to both of your um, commitment to each other that you're together after a whole fucking year. That's like a big deal. So yeah. Uh, so when I was talking about queer content, I went more like outside of our sphere on Twitch, like TV shows, movies, uh,
Okay.
or
Like,
music or stuff like that. Well, it's
yeah.
not you can't really find queer music per se, but like music by a queer artist, for example, or stuff like that. Because like I feel like there is so much that we can talk about that in representation in media, but there's also not enough. At least that's how I
True.
feel. So tell me something about that.
For me, finding like your movies is actually like hard. Like I like obviously it was like in recent years that it became acceptable, like in terms of like being in movies. Otherwise, like even in like Indian movies, I used to watch a lot of Indian movies. Like that, right? Being like gay or like bisexual, lesbian is it's like a called like a taboo subject
Mhm.
in Indian movies, and like most of the times being gay is like made fun of. I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so it's weird. In terms of like pure content, that's when I start to like discover, because like I had a classmate who was openly gay. He came out to his parents, and like even in like our school, it used to be like so it is like a British curriculum, and so like students were more open, unlike in like other schools, like like a lot of like the CBSE schools and stuff. They're not very open to this kind of like like what's it called, concept of like being gay, openly gay, and parents supporting them, because like I don't know why, but like everybody thinks that being gay is something bad, and they treat it as a disease or something like that. Because like I've
Yeah.
had like friends, some friends, they like got caught like while having sex or something, and then they're like the parents are like taking them to a psychologist and it's telling him he has like he's mentally having mental some problem or something like that. And yeah, so about I got sidetracked. Yeah, about content. So this guy, he used to share like movies and stuff, and that's when I cure like movies with like uh, decepting like gay people and bisexuality and lesbianism and all this stuff. It's like that's when I got like insight, and then that's when I started discovering myself too. Okay,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's when I discovered. But yeah, in terms of like finding sexuality, like a lot because it was actually porn for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be open. So see, it was porn. It's when I realized, see, it's not just what my friends was. That's just not just what I like. I like something more. And then
Mm,
that's when I started, discovering like what is up, like, and that's why.
yeah,
Like even in India too, like see, like in Kerala, especially if you do that, like do you know like something called moral policing kind of stuff happening?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah, even like girls and guys holding hands together, like if they're not married, people are getting mad about that shit. I
yeah.
don't know why.
That shit they do when they go around trying to
Like, imagine
target
why
couples on
someone.
Valentine's Day or whatever. I hate that shit, man. It's such, I don't know. It seems like such childish and petty and just absolutely unnecessary bullshit. Like why police what other people do with themselves, with their bodies, with their whatever, man. It's yeah, it's very frustrating to be
Yeah,
on the other side of it where, you know, oh no, but it's against my moral codes. Then you don't fucking do it, right? What is it? How does it? It's the same argument with anything in this entire fucking whatever, from gay rights to abortion rights to LGBTQ rights to fucking human rights. Women being allowed to vote 100 years ago, that was taboo. So it's a difficult, very very
that's
difficult way to
true, true.
just find yourself and to just be able to be yourself. And it stings because
Yeah,
all I want to do is just the freedom to love the person that I want to love, whether they're male, female, non-binary, trans, who fucking cares? As long as I like them and they like me, who gives a fuck, right? Or nobody should give a fuck. But
yeah. So like that's the thing. Like even like guys holding girls' hands, like like even heterosexuality is like frowned upon here,
yeah.
like being lovers, like unmarried. So imagine like if let's say I have a male partner and like me walking, like, it's unimaginable for me.
Mm,
That's the same reason like I'm like afraid to open up. See, it's more about like me. It's not I am afraid of how people think of me. It's fine. What people think, I don't care.
mm,
But it's how people react. Like them try like they take it to a next level where it is like harassment. There have been cases of lynching too. So yeah, like it's scary to be open in like India. I mean, at least in Kerala, I don't like in. I think like in Bangalore, I was able to explore my like more about myself. Because I had gay friends, and
mm,
I was like, it's Bangalore is more chill compared to Kerala. These people mind their own business.
mm.
Yeah, so yeah, Bangalore is more like chilled out than here. But in Kerala, like I can't imagine being open, man. That's scary. That's the reason I'm like only open on Twitch and like or not on YouTube. What about you? Tell me about yours, like your
Uh,
experience.
so for me, it it started out as um, the typical, 13-year-old angsty teenager shit where I did not know what being gay meant
Hmm.
and using gay as an insult for a
Yeah,
very long time. So that's like
so
till I was
same
like
for me.
16, you know,
Yeah, same for me
because
too. Like
yeah,
I thought like being that was like bad or something
yeah.
like
So
that.
I would use the word gay as an insult because I thought that's what it was. I thought it was whatever. But then as I got older, as I started to understand more and more about my own self, about my own personality, my best friend was very instrumental in this, by the way. And like, I mentioned this not because like, oh, I'm better than everybody else, but more like because I feel like somebody like me, and I say like me, I don't mean to brag, but like somebody like me who's an advocate for mental health, who talks about all of this shit, who helps fundraise for charity and all that shit. Even I, at some point in my life, was extremely homophobic. Because, and that was not because it's what I believed. It's because that's all I was told by people around me.
Yeah, true.
So it was not until my best friend, who I will have known for 10 years in October, they were the one who was like, uh, you absolute fucking piece of shit, read up on this shit, and Zero helped me become the man I am today. From being a decent human being in terms of respect, respecting people's opinions and being able to have a decent conversation, to being a well-rounded individual who supports gay rights, who is part of the LGBT community, all of that shit. That for me was always a very, like, it's become a very big deal because it's part of my identity, part of my personality. And I feel like I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to be myself and to be able to talk about the things that are important to me, because it just gives me so much more satisfaction that way, and I'm so grateful for my best friend for being there for me to help me understand who I was. That's how it started. And then for me, it was, I mean, like, I don't really watch a lot of uh, queer porn, to be very honest. I don't watch porn at all really now. And this is not like a brag thing, but I prefer to write. I prefer to like role play stuff. I don't know if this is like TMI or if it's against TOS. I don't know, so I'm not going to go into details. But
Not really describing what it is, right?
yeah,
It's
so I
saying
don't write. I don't read. I write now, or like I don't watch. I write now. You know. So if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah. So now I've gotten to a point where I basically just I watch all kinds of queer content. If it's movies, TV shows, like I don't go specifically looking for them, but if I find something that has queer content in it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch this. Our Flag Means Death. That's a really good show that people should check out. Or there was a show on Netflix which was about uh, what was it called? Fuck, I forgot what it's called. It's about lesbian vampires, teenage lesbian vampires. They canceled it after one season because it was horribly executed, but it was such a fun concept. And I would have loved to see more of it. But I saw the first episode. I didn't really watch all of it, not yet. But like, it's on my list, and I quite enjoy it.
yeah,
So yeah. So for me, it's very easy uh, to sit back now after 10 years and say, oh, you should know better or whatever. Like I didn't know better, and the only reason I do know better now is because I was educated and I was given the resources to read up on and to understand what my who I am and how to figure out what I like and who I like.
yeah. It's the same thing for me. Like I discovered a lot about sexuality like through Twitch itself. Because like I get to meet queer content creators and fellow queers, and like I was able to educate myself. Because even for me, I needed to know like what's up, what's this, and what's that, and like because I'm not saying like I was born like yeah
Mhm.
yeah, and like but yeah, in terms of content, right? Do you feel like right now or even Netflix or like they're like capitalizing on like like your content by like, just including your characters, and like I feel like they're capitalizing on that rather than they're doing it for the good, like awareness or like anything else. That's what
Mhm.
I feel like. Not saying there shouldn't be your content or anything, but I feel like most companies they're just doing this marketing where they're saying like we are like LGBTQI friendly, but they're rather trying to capture the market. That's what I feel like, at least in content.
Mhm. I think
Yeah.
it's a slippery slope and it's a double-edged sword there, where yes,
Mm,
I want to see more representation. I want to see more queer people in media. I want to see more of all of that as much as
yeah.
possible. But on the flip side, there is so much that sometimes people just put in just to it's called queer baiting, right? Where you include a queer character in a TV show or a movie or in any piece of media just so that the gay people will watch it, and then you kill them off in the first episode, or you give them maybe 3 lines of dialogue in like the entire season, or whatever else. uh, so I feel like, on one hand, like, we're getting to see more of that, but like, at what cost? At the cost of being angsty and being sad that every time we want to watch something, um they all we have to see is people dying, or people just being mistreated, or like there's this thing that I read about. It's called uh, fuck, what's the word? They usually use it for people who are disabled. It's called inspiration porn, is what it's called, right?
Okay.
And basically what it means is that when you hear about someone's story about how their life is sad and they're not doing the best in the world and they're upset about things or whatever, and as a result, but despite all the odds in double quotes, they have made their life perfect, and now despite the fact that and that despite the fact, double quotes, that they don't have XY, or they have XYZ disability, they are still able to live a normal functioning double quote life, you know. And there's a lot that happens on the internet with shit like that, especially on Twitter, man. Twitter is a cesspool of this shit. But what I was trying to say is so people use that for everything. Inspiration porn is not only for the disabled community. It's for you can use it for, like, a queer character who, despite all the odds of his parents hating him and his not whatever, he's able to find love and a chosen family, and he's able to fight against the uh, what's it called, rage against the machine, and fight against whatever the fuck else, and become the next big fucking whatever thing. So it is quite difficult to, like, for me, again, like I said, I want to see more of it, but I also want it to be like quality content, not just shitty shit where they just kill them off,
Yeah,
or
it's
or
just
or they
content,
sorry.
quality content, like you said, like they're just
Exactly.
doing it for, like, and like what Nick saying. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, by the way, like, tell me about, like, your experience on Twitch in terms of, like, being a pure content creator. Like, I said, have you had any, like, hate rates or, like, bad experiences? I just want to know, because, like, I've had
Hmm.
bad experience, bad run-ins.
So uh, I personally have not faced anything.
Mm.
I've been very lucky. Well, okay, that's a lie. Not anything, but like it's been very limited. I had one very bad case of a hate raid happen a week after my birthday in September last year. I was doing my first ever charity stream for Rahi. Rahi is a mental health organization based out of India. They focus on destigmatizing mental health and on basically uplifting LGBTQ people with trying to help their mental health, basically. Um, so it's like 2 in the morning. I'm doing a 40-hour stream because, of course, I'm a fucking idiot and I decided to do that. But uh, we
40
get
hours, you even do
yeah,
40 hours,
yeah. I
man.
did like a 42-hour charity stream.
Yeah.
It was basically like every time you would subscribe or donate, the timer on the clock would go up.
Okay,
So
like
he ended
Sabaton.
up, yeah, like a subathon, but it was for charity. Everything I made
Uh,
for the entire month of September went to charity.
that's cool, man.
So yeah, it was like, I don't really like my birthday, so I try not to celebrate it. So in order to do that, I figured, why not do something good um, around my birthday, and raise funds for charity instead. Um, Anyway, so it's 2 in the morning. I'm on a call with a bunch of my friends, and all of these are people I had just met because I only started streaming in July. So August, September, I'd only been doing it for 2 months. And Pun and Jazz were in call with me. There were a couple of other people. RP was there. Just all of these amazing people that I am still friends with a year later, which is like absolutely incredible. But like, I we got hit by like 30, 40 followers, right? It was only followers. It was not a hate raid. It was just
Yeah.
a bot follow. So you got 30, 40 followers, and then this is before I knew about Seribot. Seribot is like an automatic bot that bans all known bots in your chat. All you have to go is go to their website, and not website, go to their Twitch page, and enter a command, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, anyway, so Jazz and Pun and Feifu, they spent the entire night uh, manually banning every bot in my chat, and
Damn.
there were like 250 something bots that followed me that night.
Okay.
And so I had to turn off all of my alerts and all of that shit because it got really frustrating.
Yeah.
And
These chat rooms in 4chan, like,
yeah,
where they, like, find LGBTQIA streamers and they just target them.
mm,
It's sad.
yeah. So at that point, I had no idea what Seribot was, So it was a pain in the ass for them, and I'm always going to be so grateful for all three of them for doing that. Jazz stayed up with me all night. Jazz was in call with me from 7 p.m. on the 24th till fucking 10 a.m. on the 26th,
Mhm.
and or whatever. I don't know what exactly the time zone was, but Jazz and I became like absolutely uh, best friends after that. Jazz has been a part of my community, been one of my closest friends since then, and it's just been such a wholesome experience. And I'm always so grateful. Going to be so grateful to Pun for introducing me to Jazz, because Jazz and Pun and they're my mods. They're my friends. They're both part of the LGBT community, so they like both get it, which is pretty cool. That was like my first experience with hate raids. We were talking about queer content. I think that was the last thing that we mentioned before. So talk about your experience with consuming queer content, which on the internet, or, on TV, wherever else.
Oh, okay. So I think I started w- I okay. So basically, I've always like kind of had an idea that there's the default setting of liking the other gender, and then there is like the entire exploration side of
Mhm.
knowing that you like it's always like, do I want to be her, or do I want to
Be with
be with
her,
her?
yeah.
So I always knew that I kind of had that fascination. I think the first time I ever saw like queer content was from Bollywood. So it was Dostana,
Mhm.
during those times,
Of course.
the good old days.
Mhm.
Um,
Best
so
movie in the
yeah.
world. Yep.
I think like a lot has changed since then, but there is like one theme that I am so not comfortable with that has still stayed.
Mm.
And a lot of people might not agree with me on this, from the community, because I don't know. I think it's because we go through a lot of struggle to just be ourselves.
Mm.
So one of the, I think, the major problematic things, like I know it has improved, like there are more queer characters, there's of course Netflix, and like content accessible everywhere, right? But at the same time, there is also the entire the queer character is always just the queer character.
Mhm.
I mean, I get it that it's a big part of who you are, but there is, I think, a lot more to a person than just being queer. Like even shows like Never Have I Ever, if there is like it's very recent. I think it came last year or like the year before that.
Mhm.
Um, you know, there was this one girl who was queer, and her entire and like and there was a queer dude, and like their entire personality was being queer. That's it. Nothing more than that. They were always like, there's still those underlying, you know, tones of this is what a queer person would be like, and that's about it.
Mm. Mm.
Like, I think anybody who like sees me IRL would like not think that I'm on the queer side, or like I wouldn't look like a proper, bi person. I think the only common stereotypical bi thing I do is like I never sit properly, you know. That's the only thing. I think apart from that, virtually nobody can make a guess. And it's because I think the only type of content, and I like, of course, that depends on how much content you consume, but like the only type of content that I think is like good in terms of uh displaying the queer character is Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek. I would highly recommend for anybody to watch that thing. Um, there was this quote from like one of the episodes, which goes like, "I like the wine. I don't like the label. You know, I don't read the label. I just like whatever wine is in there." So and it's also like put across as a world wherein nobody cares if you're queer. To be honest. And I think like deep down we don't want so, like, you know, to be in a world wherein everyone's like, oh my god, you're queer, yay, or like, what the fuck, you're queer, you know. We want to be in a world wherein it doesn't like just restricts us, or like that's not, the aspect. I mean, even like cisgender people putting in their pronouns, um it's kind of to normalize it,
Yeah.
right? And not associate like certain thing with just being queer. That is because no matter how much we go about saying, oh my god, I'm so queer, that's like the whole personality of things. But still, you know at the end of the day, we want to be in a world wherein if you come out of the closet, it's like, oh well. I think that was actually my sister's reaction when I told her. Like, she's the only person apart from my, like, in my family who knows, um you know that I'm out only to her. Like, apart from her, nobody like in my family or like in my hometown knows about it. And it's her reaction was, okay, so
Hmm.
what,
Hmm.
cool, good for you.
I love that.
And I think like somewhere down the line we all crave that, but the media would never show it like that. It would just be like, okay, this person is queer, we need to show them as quote unquote queer as possible.
Hmm.
I don't like that. I don't think that has evolved even a bit. It has like transformed itself, but I don't think there is any positive evolution to it. So I think that's one change that would be good in the content, but it's still more or less the same, whether we like it or not.
I have I have thoughts, a lot of thoughts about this stuff, but I'm gonna defer to potato juice first before I go on my rant, because I have a small little rant and I want to go on, but I'm gonna stop myself. Okay, what do you think?
For me, what in terms of what?
Based on what Unicorn said, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with her. I don't know. Like I said, like queer content for me, I feel like I told you right. Like it's like a marketing gimmick. That's what I feel like. At least in Netflix shows. I don't know about the rest. Because, like I'm not very much like like I haven't found good content. Like you said, like there have been like that just like a flimsy attempt, right?
Hmm.
That's what I feel like too. Like they're just doing it like not because they want to raise awareness, but rather they wanna like capitalize on it. So it's not like obviously I'm queer too, but I'm not saying like I don't support queer content or anything. But like I feel like this, it's like they're just trying to do this for the money rather than like to build awareness or just because they care about like your content creators or your content or anything. And like in terms of what's it called, good content, I haven't yet found one. Maybe like if you chat or like you guys can suggest, I'll let him check it out.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so about this thing that you mentioned, Unicorn, I wrote a tweet longer, which yeah, I know, yeah, whatever. I wrote a tweet longer on the last day of Pride, talking about being queer and being myself and being coming out. That's what it was about. And the premise of it was I've been out for as long as I can remember. I've always been pan. I've never really had like one day I was in the quote unquote straight. Next day I was pan. I didn't really do like a big reveal announcement, whatever, or whatever else. I told my best friend. They were also they're also bi pan, still figuring it out. But so they were like, okay, cool, yeah, me too. I told my cousins, my sisters who are similar to my age. They had the same reaction, right? And I think the 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 point that I was trying to make there was I don't want like a big celebration around the fact that oh, look at him, he's come out and he's like a big deal or he's whatever. But sometimes when I see people online put up things like, this is me, I'm coming out, I'm pan today, and I see the people around them celebrate them, and then they give them that big whatever. It kind of makes me feel like I never had that. Nobody threw me a party. Nobody celebrated me coming out. Nobody did any of that for me. Where was my celebration? And like, it's a double-edged thing, right? Where one side I'm like, I want it to be normalized enough that we don't have to have parties, but also I've been out for 10 fucking years. I'm always going to be out. Where is my 2 cents, 2 seconds of, hey, we're proud of you, for doing whatever you've done, for everything you've stood for, and all of that. Where is that? But no. And then on the flip side, it's like, I'm so happy for all these people who get the recognition, the love, and everything that they rightfully deserve. But why is it so hard when it comes to me, when I ask for it? Why can't I get it? Why can't I have that sense of that, whatever? And it's that weird space that I've been existing in for a while, where it's difficult to be myself, in the sense that I will always be out. I'm never going to have to like have the important discussion or the important whatever around coming out or having a coming out whatever. So what I did, 30th June, I threw myself a coming out party, or 31st June, whatever, the last day of Pride. I threw myself a coming out party on stream. We did some karaoke. I sang some shit, played some good music, and that was my party. It was 10 years down the line, 10 years in the making, but that's what I did. The other thing that you mentioned that I also really really vibe with, I guess, is that you don't look visibly bi,
Yeah.
right? Same with me. Like, if you look at me, you're not gonna think, oh, this dude's pan, or this dude's whatever. Like and there's that sense of like, what the world considers gay men or pan men or whatever the fuck your orientation is to look like. In my stereotypical perspective of what I have seen, or what the media portrays it as, people who are gay, they are extremely concerned about their outward appearance, right? That's what the media portrays them at, right? And because I consume so much content, I consume so much media, which includes people from the queer community, I feel like I don't visibly pass as pan, which means I have that privilege where people don't assume people assume that I'm straight, which means that I don't have to come out to them if I don't want to, and
Yeah.
that gives me a lot of power compared to someone who is visibly gay or visibly pan, where their outward appearance reflects it. And it was a very difficult thing to put down on paper, because like I didn't really know what I was trying to say, except that these are the things that I feel, or whatever. And it's difficult for me to talk to a lot of my friends about this, because I either feel like I do too much, or I don't do enough. And it's even today, like today morning, I was this close to canceling today's session, because I didn't feel like it. And it just felt like I'm tired of being the only one who talks about this shit, And this is not to throw shade at anybody else. That's not the point. It's I'm very open and very vocal with my advocacy, with the everybody should have basic human rights. Everybody should have the privilege. Everybody should have the privilege to come out when they want to, and be who they are, and the freedom to be who they are as much as they can. But it gets exhausting when I'm the only one doing it, and when I want to be more than just gay, right? And that's the other thing that you said, where being pan is not all who I am. I am being Indian is not all who I am. I had this thing just a couple of days ago with someone, which I don't want to go into details, because I just I don't like to whatever drama with that. But like, it got to a point where it felt like, the only reason I got accepted into a certain thing is because I was Indian, right? The only reason I got accepted into whatever, and like the token Indian representative, right? And I hate that shit. I don't like being put into a box, right? I am Indian, yes. I am also pan, yes. I am also a faceless streamer. I am also a pantsless streamer. I there are so much more that I do. I have angst. I get upset. I get angry. I am a well-rounded whatever. I talk about shit. I play the guitar. I play video games. I do karaoke. Like, it's the whole thing, right? It's not just one shit. And being put into that one box because it's one part of my big personality, it feels very claustrophobic and very stifling. And which is what I like when I said I want to go on a rant, I literally meant a rant, because like I agree with everything you said. And all of that shit is, it's so frustrating when I try my hardest to be more and be better, and but then why should I have to be? I shouldn't have to be different, or be better, or be the one of the good gays or whatever. I want to be who the fuck I want to be, and I want everybody else to be whoever the fuck they want to be. And that's why is that so difficult for like for like everybody to just, yeah, this is what happens with my rants. I start off strong, the mid is okay, and then at
No,
the
I
end I
agree.
don't know how to end my argument.
I agree with you, man. Like what you say, like for example, like you said, like being like coming out party, like something like nobody celebrates being straight, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's like it should be something that is normalized. It shouldn't matter actually. As a matter of fact, that's what I feel like. That's what my thing is. It shouldn't matter. Like don't like I don't want special privileges just because I'm pan or like anything. As a matter of fact, I just want to be treated like equally, like not treated like shit because I'm pan.
Mm,
Oh
That's what
yeah,
at least as for my need is personally because like see if like on YouTube I definitely can't come out. It would be like a shit show. Like I'll get bullied and stuff. So I just wanted to be like on YouTube I can come out and nobody's gonna judge me. It's like it should be like normalized as same as being heterosexual. That's what like at least for me that's what I feel like. And obviously in terms of rights, equal rights. I don't feel like you should be given a separate right just because you're this or like specific gender or specific sexuality. It doesn't matter. That's what I feel like. I agree with you what you said.
oh yeah. I mean, there was this entire phase I had in my life wherein I started wearing flannel shirts
Mhm.
just to, outwardly show. And like, there was also the phase wherein I tried wearing like, you know, black lipstick or like something very bold and out there. Also got a bob haircut.
mhm,
Like it was an entire mess. Like I have like super long hair, so I automatically appear on the feminine side. That's what I was talking about, right? So I went like so extreme. I got a bob, and I didn't realize I got the Karen haircut instead of the
oh
other bob.
no,
Yeah,
no.
it was. Yeah, it was an entire disaster, and I think we end up being so mean to ourselves about it because we don't know, you know, what is right, and like everybody expects this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, I think like instead of assuming just because how a person looks, and like there's not even the need to ask, right? Like just to be safe, don't refer to them as anything. I think anyone would prefer, you know being called like gender neutral terms at this point, because I mean at first it used to be bro for dudes, right?
Mhm,
And now it's very gender neutral. It doesn't matter, like whoever you are, you're a bro.
mhm,
And I think like even with people in the trans community, right? um I think that they'd prefer that their friends call them hi bitch instead of calling them any fucking pronoun, or like to cause any form of confusion.
mhm,
I mean, sure, if somebody wants you to call them a certain pronoun, it's not going to hurt your fucking tongue. And I get that there are people who do that shit on purpose. And
exactly.
that's where I understand the need to like celebrate the struggles, because if you went through so much hard shit, in your life, and then you celebrate something, I get it. Like somebody, for instance, moves out of their parents' house or moves out of a toxic environment to a better one. So, that's something I think can be celebrated. But I think just because you are a certain identity, it's not like that big of a deal, and it shouldn't be made that big of a deal. Even like as a bi person, I get like hate from people within the community and outside of the
Mm,
community.
yeah.
It's like if so I was also using Tinder for a while, and whenever I'd go out on a date with a dude, and they'd be like, okay, so tell me more about yourself. I'd be like, hey, you know I like playing games. If I'm stressed out, I play Mortal Kombat, and I'm bi. And the first response, any motherfucking straight guy, and I'm sorry for using motherfucking straight, but um
Yes.
they'd just go like, oh, so threesome would be a possibility,
Oh
huh?
my god.
And I'm
Oh my
like,
god.
Fuck.
those are two
Oh
different things.
fuck.
And I am somebody who's bi and who's like, very much into just being with one person. Like
Yeah.
I don't like
People assume just
polyamorous.
because like you're queer, you're
Yeah,
open to weird shit.
yeah. And
I
I'm
Yeah.
mean,
like,
for
I
what it's
am.
worth, I
Yeah.
am into weird shit, but like,
No, I'm not saying it's wrong for being into weird shit. I'm saying people assume every queer person is into that shit.
yes, you're
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm
And
saying. Generalization. Even I'm
that's
into weird shit, so I'm not gonna talk it about on stream. So yeah.
no, the funny thing is that I am very much conservative that way. If like I need to put it in a certain manner, like I'm not into any freaky weird shit, and I'm just like this. I think I'm very much a vanilla person. So, you know,
Yeah.
um,
That is
it
perfectly
is,
valid.
and people assume like the weirdest shit from me, and it just turns into from like, okay, I'm bi, just wanted to let you know that if you're checking out some good women, just share them my way. I'd also like some eye candy.
Right?
I mean it like that. Then I'm also bi, and if you see some eye candy, don't hesitate to look in front of me, because that's kind of a thing with straight couples are like,
Hmm.
women being too weird and jealous, apparently. And I'm talking like quote unquote apparently, because of course every relationship is different, but like even if in the meme culture it's like, oh, why did you look at her,
Hmm.
so that's what i'm
I
i'm
think
very
that's
much.
I think that's the beauty of queer relationships. You can check hot people out together.
Oh yeah, like high five, check hot people out
Right?
together, like that's what one of my exes and I we used to do. We would like sit together, have a bro night wherein we'd check women out, and it'd be fun.
I love that. I think that is a sign of a very healthy relationship.
Yeah, but that didn't work out, it's X for a reason.
Valid, valid. Okay. So I think we should let's talk about like the elephant in the room, which is today. Today is, Independence Day, and it's the 77th ish, whatever day, whatever the fuck, yeah. So what does it mean to you to be in an independent nation? I suppose that's a weird question. I don't know why it's even there, but sure.
I don't mind going like I mean, yeah, sure. I mean I don't find like, being independent like makes a huge difference at the moment. Yeah, at least we have I mean some kind of freedom of speech, but is it really there? I don't feel like at least for me, being like double minority, I am queer and I am a religious minority. Like even like if I say something that I feel like, I'll immediately like get cancelled by the government right wing guys. I'm not saying you being right wing is wrong or anything, but your thing. But keep your
Oh,
thoughts to yourself, right?
I'll say it. Fuck off. If you're right wing, you have no space here.
No, I mean,
I don't care.
yeah. See, if you're right wing, you can have your thoughts. It's I don't care, but don't try to enforce it on me, right? That's what my thing is. So being independent, it's just like a term that yeah, we are an independent country and we have like a false sense of democracy. Like that's what at least for me, that's what I feel like. That's why I'm planning to move to Germany soon. So like I'm waiting on my results. Like I'm moving to Germany soon, and like even my parents are like planning to move to Europe soon because like again like what's happening with like Muslim minorities, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, at least in Kerala, like it's better because like the government like we have a left wing government and our state opposes the right wing government. So like we're safe, but you can't say like how long it'll take that to change because politicians they don't care if it's left or right. More money means they'll turn to right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't feel like being independent too. There's been a huge progress in terms of being a democratic country.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like that's what I feel like. It's like I feel like persecuted every time. Even like so like I showed you something right like about that guy saying I'll report you to the government and some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just that's what it is. If you say something, you see something, even if they're in the wrong and you see something, uh, if like since like I'm a minority and like let's say I publicly openly come out and try like unlike other countries where you have at least the right to protest. Here, like there is a right to protest technically in the book, but you go do that, you become an anti-national and straight to jail. And yeah, LGBTQ rights is a joke.
Hmm.
I mean, like basic human rights is not there. What about LGBTQ rights? Like even like right now, even in Kerala, like they said, like trans people are getting equal opportunities, but it's still persecuted everywhere. Everywhere, like like in terms of job opportunities, you go somewhere, uh, and people like use degrading terms. I've seen it like happen in front of me. Like even in like uh, Bangalore, I used to live 2 years in Bangalore. I've seen it like people are forced into like begging trans people because like they're not given job opportunities. It's not because they want to beg, right?
Hmm.
It's not like everybody's like, okay, I'm trans, I want to beg. No, everybody wants to live a decent life, but they're not given the opportunity. And like the government says, okay, there is identity card for trans people, but it's just like I said, like a word in the book and something that's not enforced, right? So yeah, it's like I don't feel like being independent makes a huge difference unless the government reforms and but see, I'm not against BCP ruling the country or whatever, but it's their policies that is like is very unacceptable. Yeah, and like yeah, India, I mean the reforming it'll take a long time because like see, even sex, talking about sex is a huge taboo, and India has the second largest population in the world. It's not like Indians don't have sex, but yeah, talking about sex too, people are like, oh fuck, don't no, don't talk about this. And like yeah, mm, like bringing like equal rights for being pure, damn, that'll be harder,
Hmm.
right? People are like
That's
even
what he
afraid to
said.
talk about like norm, like just sex. Like people are like, no, it's like, what are you talking? इज्जत से बात करो. Yeah, तमीज नहीं है क्या? Like all this shit.
I hate that shit, dude. I hate
Yeah,
the thing
very
where
difficult.
if you talk about something like sex, or immediately you're what's the word? You're not fuck. What's the word? You're being indecent, right? I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit.
True, true.
It's
Yeah.
against our culture. हमारे संस्कृति के खिलाफ है.
Yeah, and yet India has the second largest population.
Fuck. Why is it?
That's the funny part.
नहीं यार, अरे नहीं, वो तो ऐसा तथास्तु करके हो जाता है.
Uh, it's
No, no,
the
even now, right? I've seen this thing. Even teachers are like they're not teaching about like biology chapter. You reach page 100, they're like, okay, you learn this by yourself, and they don't explain that shit. I don't know what talking about penis and vagina is like. It's like, oh fuck, don't no, that is bad or something. I don't know.
Oh no, they don't exist.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny. Yeah, it's see, it needs to happen at a it needs to happen at like lower level actually.
Hmm.
Like like it's not like you can like reform a 30-year-old person. It's harder, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying teach them about being like pure or anything. Like I'm saying like at least teach about basic stuff. People like learning about this. Like if I've had like a friend, okay, so he's like older than me,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and he got married,
Mhm.
and he's like he learned about menstruation after getting married. He doesn't know that even
Oh
that.
my god,
I'm like, how did you not know? What the fuck? Yeah,
Wow.
sex education very important in India.
dude. For what is worth, like I didn't know till I till my best friend told me when I was 16, right? And the only reason I like my mom had told me that this thing happens once a month where she doesn't do prayers. That's all she told me. And I was like,
No, she doesn't pray.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like
exactly. So I was like,
once.
so, and the only reason I even found out is because it was during my birthday. It was my 14th or 15th birthday, and she didn't sit with us. Like my grandparents used to come down from Delhi, and we would do like this. It was so frustrating, but like every year on our birthdays, my brother and I, my grandparents would come all the way down from Delhi to Dehradun first. That's the first thing. Secondly, they had this panditji. Panditji is like a priest, but like for Hindus, for people in chat, and they would. Uh, this guy they knew from Kuwait, by the way, who had moved back to Dehradun to his whatever after whatever, and they would have like this whole Havan thing done for our birthdays, where like fucking I would have to wake up. The annoying part of this was I would have to wake up at fucking 5 a.m. to go attend the Havan and do like the whole shit and then attend a full day of school, then come back after the Havan and then sit there for another 3 hours till the sun went down. And it was so frustrating. But like the point that I was trying to make is when I was 15, my mom didn't participate in the proceedings, and I asked her why, and then she told me that once a month for a few days, we just don't pray, and I was like, oh no, she said once a month during every few days, women are unclean, so we don't pray,
Oh my god.
and I didn't fucking know any better, so I was like, okay, cool, maybe that's the thing that happens, and then my friend tells me about periods, and I was like, oh, is that what she meant? But why would she say it was unclean? It just didn't compute, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like my first sign of that my mom is not as progressive as I thought she was. Because holy shit, dude! Imagine the internalized misogyny for you to call yourself unclean for 5 days a month just because you bleed.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
Holy shit!
can't blame
internalized
them, to be
disgust
honest, because
more
like
than
that's what
um
they grew up on, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah, you can't blame them. But it was what, like, the thing was like, if you are normalized to what you grew up with, right? So, yeah, it's harder to reform like a 30-year-old person, like I said. Yeah.
Sorry, unicorn, you were saying something.
no, I was saying internalized disgust more like it because you
Yeah,
decide that you're not clean. And
yeah,
and the thing is, in some cultures, like in India, people are not allowed, like women are not allowed to, even enter the kitchen. And they have like different utensils and all of that for themselves. So um that's one of the main things, you know. Um so it's very much on those lines too. I mean, in my house, kitchen is like all cool, whereas in some houses kitchen is not cool. So imagine like for 5 days in a month, your sister or your cousin is told like you cannot even enter the place where you get food.
it's
Like
so
somebody
fucking
will
weird,
serve that to
man.
you.
Like,
No, I even know, like, right even now, like, I have some like Hindu friends. So like in their house, like somebody has like like menstruation, they're supposed to stay in a different room
Yeah,
and like not come out and like yeah, it's weird. Like yeah, like I said, sex education like important. Like in schools, it needs to be done like at a lower stage. Like
mm,
instead of like you can't reform a 30-year-old person. It's harder to do that. Teaching him about that, he will never accept it because that's what like he grew up in a different situation and he can't accept that. See, if like right and wrongs are like, how do I say it? Like it depends. Like for example, as like I grew up in a Muslim background, eating pork is like wrong for me, right? But if you grow
mm,
up in a Christian background, you'd be like, yeah, pork is fine.
it's actually
See,
delicious. That's what they'll say.
no, I do eat pork by the way, so yeah, I'm not religious. I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah.
till an age of 10, I'm like, okay, it's bad. Something bad will happen if you eat that. So that's what like people grow up on. Like, and once you're like 25 plus, or like, you can't. It's like it's a very foreign idea for people to know, right? When saying like menstruation is fine, it's like, no, we don't want to talk about it. They usually like try to escape the conversation. That's what happens. So yeah, like it needs to be done at schools, and like even schools, are what they're doing is like sex education chapter comes, like, you read it. I'm not going to teach.
mm,
Yes, it's weird. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and you guys talk about the independence. Like yeah, I totally sidetracked the conversation, right?
dude, it's fine. I told you guys that we're going to talk about things as and when they come up. And like the independence thing was just like an excuse to get us all here. It doesn't have to be about it. Because like,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
very honest, I don't give two shits about it. Like I'm not very patriotic. I'm not whatever. I know you're not either, but I don't know about you, Unicorn, but
See,
like,
again, I love India as a country, amazing country. In terms of landscape, that's what I'm saying. In terms of culture, government, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. In terms of landscape, amazing country, right? I
mm,
mean, like awesome country, like 10 different landscapes, different weather. I really love India as a like place to explore, but culture,
mm,
no. Government, fuck no. So
mm.
yeah.
Can I just say one thing
Yeah,
about like
sure.
the newspaper covers on the pad
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
packages? Oh my God,
Oh
that's
my
such a
God.
fucking real thing. I mean, I have gotten like looks when I would, be getting my menstrual hygiene products from the supermarket. Like I'll just put them in the cart.
Hmm.
And like I wouldn't go to like a chemist or something because it just becomes like, oh, do you want layer one, which is a newspaper, after which there's a layer two of your what do you say? The black polythene,
Oh
after
my
which it is
God.
added with all the other things, you know. So if you go to a chemist or whatever, you can like get a condom more openly displayed than like a pad.
Even getting a
Yeah.
condom is hard. The people are like, they're like scared to say condom.
Hmm.
It's weird.
I
Like how
remember.
contraption is like, it's like a taboo.
Yeah.
And like even in movies, that's how it's portrayed. Like even like let's say at least in Malayalam movies, I don't know about Hindi movies. In Malayalam movies, right, there's like some joke scenes where like a guy goes buys like pads and he's like this is bread and like some shit like that. He has to hide as if it's something bad. I don't even if is that even a joke? I don't think so, right? And it's sad what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know in Indian movies. Like even like movies play a huge role in like influencing people. It does like no matter what
Yeah.
people say.
True. So, I mentioned about like my family stuff, whatever. To and this is not brag or whatever, but like to their credit, my chachu or my uncle, my dad's younger brother, he has two daughters, right? My sisters, they're my cousins, but I call them sisters, whatever. And like I feel like he is so open with them about everything. Like they will call him in the middle of the night or the middle of the day, whatever. Sorry, when he's at work, he'll be like, "Dad, I need chocolates or I need pads," right? And it's that open, is that whatever with them. And I love how open their relationship is, because like they can talk about all this shit and they can be as open as they want without having to worry about any taboo or any you're pure or impure or unclean or whoever that fucking shit, right? That's like a whole fucking thing that is.
I,
I wanted to talk about this thing. So back in 2016, I want to say it's like 6 years ago, right? Where you would think things were different, whatever. I was 19. I was in my second year of college, and I was seeing this girl who was really I met who of all things was one of my dad's neighbor's friends. She was also my dad's friend, but she was my age. Like it was a like weird thing. I don't fucking know, but like
I'm
they
confused.
so basically my dad's neighbor, his daughter.
Your dad's friend studies in college with you?
No, my dad's neighbor, his daughter was in college,
Okay.
right? So she made a friend in college who came over once, and I ran into her and we became friends. Well, more than friends, but like, so while we were dating, right? We weren't really dating; it was just like a fling. So during that time, once I was supposed to, but what was I saying? Fuck yeah! So she ran out of pads, right? And we were at the house. Just vibing, and she was visibly uncomfortable. So I was like, fuck me, tell me what you want, I'm gonna go get it, right? So I did. I went to the store. The store is like a 5 minute walk. I went, I picked it up, and this motherfucker gave me a bag. Then he gave me that black bag, like you say. He's like, okay, this is. So I was like, why, right? So I'm not doing this to like, I'm not saying this to like, oh, look at me, I'm so open and shit. Like, who gives a fuck? But like, I removed the plastic bag, I removed the paper bag, and it was like one pad she needed, but like I didn't know. I bought the whole package, like the whole set, whatever, that big thing. Like, because I didn't fucking know, right? I was 19, and I didn't know if she needed one, if she needed more, and whatever. So I picked up the whole thing. I brought it home with me, holding it in my hand. I was walking down the street, like people looking at me, staring at it, and like I got uncomfortable, right? Because not because of what I was holding in my hand, but because of the way people were looking at me, and it got very. It's just like I didn't understand what is so whatever about it, like why is this such big of a deal? And it wasn't till I got home, and then I told her, I was like, why were people so weird about it? She's like, it's because, then she explained it to me, and like, it's funny that I didn't really know how taboo or whatever it is till I was like 19, and it didn't really change my opinion on anything, right? I still, like, if she would have needed more, I would have gone and brought more and done the same thing, because like it like I personally feel like it is. I don't know, man. Like I shouldn't have an opinion on it. I am not the one who's affected by it. I am not the one who has to go through it. Why the fuck should my opinion matter? Why the fuck should I even have an opinion on it?
Hmm.
If you need something to make yourself feel more comfortable, to help with whatever you need to help with, go get it. I don't give, like, my opinion is irrelevant in that point, right? Because it doesn't affect me directly. I'm not the one who's bleeding. for 5 fucking days straight.
It's the
Yeah,
same
like
thing
no
like for me.
breaks. The least we can get is just some, whatever, not like making this a big deal and that being on the list of worries too.
Exactly right. I I don't know, man. It's just very weird to think about it in a way that where people are like, um, I get to control what is stuff that is between your legs because I'm a man and I'm better. Fuck that shit, man. Like there is like, and I know this is like, bare minimum that someone like I can do. Like I wish there was a way that we could, I don't know.
No, but what's sad, right, is that other women, like even other women say like like how Sassy said, like being impure and like all that stuff.
Yeah, like my own fucking mother said that to me, right?
Yeah,
And
so
I
yeah, it's like it's not just men who has to change, like even women, like at least like
mm,
who are not progressive thinking and like very orthodox. Like women do it to themselves too. They're like, oh, we are impure, like we can't do this, we can't do that.
yeah, but like from a queer perspective, right? Queer people do it to each other too. Like how the trans community is not, like, people are still transphobic while still being in the LGBTQ community. Like I have
True.
stories from the last year where one of my closest friends, who was one of my mods, who I loved like a brother, chose a transphobe over me and my community, and it broke my heart. Like and it happened like 3 weeks ago. You know, so I get it. It's upsetting and it's disappointing, and I hate bringing it up all the time because like it just makes me feel bad, and everybody else gets down with it because everybody who knows is like, fuck, why are you reminded of why is he bringing it up? Because like it reminds them of all the bullshit that we went through. But like I took like 10 days off streaming, and you guys know from like people in chat and everybody, you guys know how much I love fucking streaming. I it's the best decision I've ever made. Period. No matter what I've done in the last 26 years almost, streaming is the best decision I've made, and I've stuck with it for over a year. And there's a reason for it. So taking 10 days off when I did not want to, but I had to because my mental health was in the shitter because of transphobic bullshit. Because someone that I loved like a brother, like a friend, like whatever else, who I genuinely thought would be around till the time I decided to stop streaming permanently. He just decided to fuck right off. So yeah,
Sorry you had to go through that, man. It happens, like I said, I told you, right? Like, I got matched on Tinder and this guy's like, you don't look gay. It's just the same thing. It's
mm,
happening even within the community, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Same thing.
People are just, the thing is, it's very much about seeing something different from what you are, and then just having,
Yeah.
that scared of a reaction instead of like inquisitiveness. I think I'd appreciate somebody being inquisitive in their asking, like if they want to know what it's like being bi and all of that from me. I'd very much appreciate, because there is a difference, right? You can try to understand other people, or you can just, be mean about it. And I think that's the major difference that a lot of people lack. I think that understanding is still not there, and that's going to take its own sweet time coming into the
Mm.
picture.
True.
I mean, I remember seeing this meme. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It goes like some uh there's this music that goes in the background, and then this dude says in the foreground, how can I be homophobic, my bitch is gay. I don't know why.
Oh, no, it's like I can't be racist. I have two black friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a meme these days. You should see that. But
Yeah,
that's the thing, right? I think even within the community itself, people are like, oh, how can I be like phobic of LGBTQ community if I belong to it? The thing is, even if
exactly.
you belong to it, just because it's different from, what you think of, you react negatively. I mean, being cis and bi in like the community, it just becomes like, okay. you're not really at a certain place.
Yeah.
It 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 turns into, oh, you know what, maybe you just like women and you're being just for the heck of it, you know. And then there is the entire, you're straight, it's just a phase, it will go away.
Exactly.
I
Either
That's
agree
way
with
it's a
Roy.
phase,
Like how
you know.
Roy said, like being the T and B in like
mm,
LGBTQIA is not seen properly. Yeah, like even within the community it happens a lot, just like Sassy said.
I think everybody doesn't see what is different to them properly.
Yeah.
I think we need to, like, as humans, like, give each other more benefit of the doubt and just try to understand each other, because I'm sure that not everybody can be politically correct all the time, and not everybody can adhere to every single thing that exists, you know. But the thing is, as long as you're open and you go with the live and let live policy, I think that also has an impact. I mean, if you think about the US, right? Um, I don't know if you guys know about these motherfuckers, the extreme right wing in the US,
mhm.
who go to YouTube and they talk about this shit like, oh, these leftists are imposing their policy on us and all of that shit, right?
Oh, like these
Um,
Christian kind of guys, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
You know one
know.
of those, right? They
Yeah.
also exist in misogyny package. They also come
Mainly
in
the
like
South,
the
like South.
right package. Huh? Like there are these bunch of people,
Mm,
and there, and mostly like the posts that you'll see on Instagram or like YouTube. I don't know about TikTok. I think they would exist on TikTok, but like you'd see this post and they would have something written on the lines of motivational speaking,
mm.
and
Yeah.
these fuckers would talk like absolute bullshit. Like there's this dude called Tate. I don't know what's his
Oh
full
my
name.
God.
And
Let's.
and the
Andrew
thing is,
Tate.
yeah, and like that bald
He's
fucker,
like a
that
bullshit guy.
bald
It's just
cock-sucking
some random
motherfucker.
shit.
Like he was like, I saw this video of this bald motherfucker saying, you know, oh, what do you say? Fuck. Hold on. I'll okay, yeah. So he just went like, oh, that's like, I wouldn't want the leftists to impose their ideology on me. That's my kid. I'll program him however I want.
Mm,
And here's the thing, right? There's a difference between telling a person that, hey, this exists, this exists, this exists. It's like saying, I don't want my kid to go out and touch grass. So don't tell my kid that grass exists, you know? I mean, it
Yeah.
really didn't help our generation that people were like, oh, straight is the only way to go. Hey,
yeah.
hi, here we are, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing, right? Um, oh yeah, definitely. I'm talking about Ben Shapiro. Is he the dude that goes like, oh yeah, 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 yeah,
No, Ben
he has
Shapiro is the guy who
he
said
has like
that who had offense, who got took offense in the song WAP because he's like he's been married for X number of years. He's never experienced his wife being wet. So
um that says more
that's
about
that is the most incredible self own in the history of self owns. My
oh
God,
my God, seriously? I
yes.
don't know about that. But like, that's what people would say. And I am very much like, when I think about these people, or like when I talk about these people, I really think like, you know, you have a different opinion, cool. I would like to know more about it. But you cannot, you know, what do you say? You cannot just be like, fuck your identity. Fuck, I don't believe in your existence. Like, I am some, giant man in the sky telling everybody how to behave. you know they come and they say this shit wherein they're like, oh, Christian, oh, law abiding country, like, you're only law abiding if you're Christian. Like, that's a fucking thing in America. And like, even being so called progressive, that's how these people they act. Like, I think it's not exactly about like progressive. I think Juice was
I
talking
think
about
America
being
should be.
progressive. But I don't think it's about being progressive. I think it's more about the openness that comes from being like, okay, there are things that exist beyond me. I think it exists within the community, outside of the community. I think it exists with a lot of humans in general. And I think more than being progressive, you know, we should be on the lines of live and let live. I think that's the most independent shit anybody can do.
Yeah.
I
But I don't
love.
agree with like I like taking American as the example for being progressive. America is a joke, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like the
Like the
so-called
world thinks
progressive.
like yeah, it's just like a you know,
Yeah,
it's a false reality actually. I don't like
yeah, definitely. Like even if like that's what I'm saying. Like anybody who says progressive or like whatever, I would say more than focusing on being progressive because of its interpretation or potential interpretation, I think it should be more about like being open. Just being like, okay,
See,
I
like for
exist,
me,
you
I want it
exist.
to be normalized. Like I don't want special, like special consideration just because I'm like you're. I want like normalization, like in terms of, like it doesn't matter like whether you're straight, gay, bi, or anything, right?
Oh, oh yeah.
It
I mean,
shouldn't be like okay, okay. So do you need like I? That's what like I don't agree with like woke people.
oh yeah, me
Yeah,
neither.
see, like getting special privileges just because you are the like a special like you identify as this or this and so and so.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
Yeah,
it should be very much on the lines of, oh, well,
yeah,
you
your
are you.
choice. Yeah,
You did
yeah,
nothing special
exactly.
by existing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But yeah,
Like I feel like what woke people are doing is like actually destroying shit.
yeah, I think they are like making this a much more big deal. I think
A
the
situation, yeah.
yeah, the more big deal they oh, can I answer this question by Nano Burcha? What kind
Yeah,
of special privilege?
yeah.
Okay, so I was applying for my master's program, right? And there's this fucking thing that they ask you. Okay, so like for me in the US, it just seemed like person of color from the LGBTQ community and a woman. Like in the US, I'm like a sort of a triple minority, women in sort of like a STEM related field, right? So women, part of LGBT, and you know, an ethnic minority and an international person. They were like, oh, you know what? You will get more easily considered. And that's the fucking reality of it. Like
Yeah,
you will kind of get more easily considered. You will in fact become the face of things. Like, okay, you are you'll be used as a prop
yeah,
for,
true.
oh, I accept. Look at this person. It's exactly like saying, the fucking song I was talking about. Uh, you know, how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. I mean, that's the fucking
Yeah,
thing. You'll be used as a token, and and the thing is, it's a double-edged sword because the more you push that way, the more the opposition reacts in a negative way, and the more they do that, the more you push it, and like it's just like everybody is pushing everybody, you know? I mean, I would say instead of like, and that's the point, Nano. The thing is that if you are uplifting a community, good,
yeah.
great
I
on
don't
you.
like agree with Nano saying like uplifting community. That's not what their whole purpose is.
But
They're just
that's not
using you as
the
a marketing tactic, like like
yeah.
saying yeah, we have from diversity, like how Netflix is trying to do that shit, like where they're just you know adding like pureness and like including people of color into the cast just because they want to do it and say yeah we are like a progressive company rather
And
than for the uplifting of the community. That's what they're doing. That's what like
it's
she's saying,
Yeah,
not
Nano.
but see,
unpopular, Nano. It is, I
here's the thing,
highly
right?
disagree.
Here's the thing, right? So I get what Dan was trying to say. I kind of sort of there's a, like you said, there's a double-edged sword. There's two things. One, after generations of it being nothing but white people, if they're making special quotas for people who are not white to get in, that is a good thing, right? That is a good thing because see, it's like if you're running a race. This is what these examples that I saw that really that fucking blew my mind. Okay, you're running a 100-meter dash, right? And everybody's running a 100-meter dash over and over. On one side, it's a dash with no obstacles. It is just a straight dash. On the other side, it's a dash with obstacles, with potholes, where you don't have shoes, and there's fucking spikes on the ground. So the people with no obstacles, they keep getting through again and again and again and again. People with the obstacles, they barely make it out, right? Then suddenly one day you're like, okay, we're going to remove all the obstacles and make it an even playing field for everybody, right? Okay, great. But then what you haven't realized is that in the last 50 years, where everybody keeps pushing the people who had no obstacles, the people with no obstacles have become the people in charge, who are making all the rules, who are refereeing the decisions, who are creating the criteria for you to get selected, right? So even if you remove all the barriers and you let everybody run normally, the people who have been running normally for the last 50 years are still given the benefit. So then what do? Do you add barriers to the people who were getting benefits so far? No. Instead, the people who had barriers for so long, you give them better equipment, you give them better shoes, you give them a 5-second head start, you give them whatever you can give them so that they can catch up and get to the same level playing field, right? That is what we need to do. The problem is when they do that, but their intention for doing it is to use you as a token representative. That is the problem. At least that's how I see it. That
Yeah, I like I'm sorry. I like kind of agree with you, but here's the thing, right? Um, as a person of like whatever, right? Any minority you want to pick, think in your mind. Would you rather be selected for something because you earned it, or would you rather be selected because you're a token and because of you being a minority? And that's what's happening with all of this is that your talent goes nowhere. And even if you get selected, it becomes very much on the lines of, oh, well, it was, we could have seen it coming from a mile away because, you know, you are this minority or you're like that minority. And that happens a lot more than we would like to believe, right? Because when I got into my master's program, right, it was very much like, oh, that's great, you got into the master's program. And then I applied for like internships and all of that. And I know for a fact that in my like in my university, I am the second international student from India, like for my program. Like there's only one senior that I have who is an Indian. Apart from that, everybody's an American. And while I understand that getting in there is kind of difficult, at the same time, I didn't hope for any internship because, people would prefer Americans. But that's the thing. So when I got my internship, it wasn't because of, me being a token diversity person because it's more difficult for them to hire over there. I got in for whatever because of my resume and because of my past experience and because of how much I could use it. And I think like that sense of accomplishment kind of gets taken away from you. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. But see, that's the thing, right? The only reason you have the chance to apply for the internship is because you got into the college, right? You got into the college because whatever diversity, whatever thing. But like it's not the only reason why, right? They could have picked anybody else. You were selected because you were at the top of your field, you were at the top of your game from the list of people that they were going to select, right?
Yeah,
It
but that's the thing. When you put in like that quota situation that, okay, we are going to only hire diverse people, that's something that's happening a lot more than you would like to believe.
Yeah, I know, I
You know?
agree. But that's the thing, right? After hundreds of years of it being all about white people, now if there are people of color who are finally getting a chance, who are finally getting an opportunity to fight for those positions that was predominantly all white, for whatever reason, right? We have that option, we have that privilege, and we're getting access to those same things.
Yeah.
So slowly it is changing, and it is. I get what you're saying. I completely agree with what you're saying. Well, not completely, but I do agree with what you're saying. Where when you don't want to get selected just because you're a diversity hire, right? Nobody wants to
Yeah.
be a diversity hire. But
Nobody wants to be a token.
yeah, exactly. Like I personally don't like it. I don't like being put in a box, right? I talked about that earlier, but I don't like, oh, this is our Indian dude, or this is our gay Indian dude, or whatever else, right? And I use gay as a blanket term, by the way. I'm pansexual, for people in chat. But also, hi Atlantis, I appreciate you. Thank you for it. The I think the crux of the thing is, the only reason we can talk about, the only reason like we get access to these things is because the world wants us to have access to these things, right? Whether their reasoning behind it is flawed, they're doing it for, like, I know if they do it, like, I don't want them to do it for the wrong reasons, because like it kind of fucks with my head too. Like, there was a thing in Netherlands a few years ago. I think it was Netherlands or somewhere, where they announced that in all of their major companies, they would have a 50-50 split between men and women on their board of directors, right? And I don't agree with that. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, and not because I think women are less or women are whatever. I feel like people should be given those positions based on who's the best person for the job, right?
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that you only give it to all men either, right?
Yeah,
You
definitely.
give it to people, because see, the problem that I was talking about, like the race thing, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the people who apply to high level CEO positions, they're almost always predominantly white men. The only reason they are all predominantly white men is because they are the only people who are given the education or given access to the education to apply for those positions, or to get the experience to apply for those positions, right? So if we change that from the ground level, where more people of color, more women, more people from the LGBT community are given access to start with, right?
Yeah.
Then when we get to the top, by the time they get to the top, the playing field is a lot more even for them. And that way they can affect more change down the line for future generations to come. And that keeps growing that way.
Yeah, that's where I agree. Like, I think
Uh,
we are sort of going through that shift. So, instead of like making it seem like, okay, we are only hiring this person because they are, from this certain sector of
yeah,
like exist, or like they exist in a certain way. I think that sort of undermines the person's capability too. And like that also becomes a problem for you in like your workplace and all of that, because then you are that diversity hire like that. I don't know if you like notice that thing, but there's this popular thing in the corporate culture wherein like if a woman is climbing on the in like good like climbing the corporate ladder, people,
assume,
including
yeah,
women by the way, would assume that she's sleeping with the boss,
exactly.
and that's the thing. So I'd say that it have your diversity hires, but don't make it like a you know oh so public thing.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we have to fill this certain quota, so we need to hire
Exactly.
these many people minimum. Like
Yeah.
there was this one thing that I read somewhere, where this guy is like, this engineering dude is like, oh, my workplace is so diverse. 14% of the people who work are women. And I was like, how is that so diverse? That is 14% is 1 out of 5, 1 out of 7 people, 8 people.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you call that diverse? I
Yeah.
so I think the problem, like I was saying, right? The problem with having with it being all about cis straight people this entire time is that it has become a problem in the sense that they hold all the top positions across the board, right? There is, and it's difficult for people like us to even get a foot in the door. So from that simple perspective, if there are more people like us who get chances, who get opportunities and privileges to be to be the ground, to start building something from the ground up, by the time 30 years down the line, when we are old enough to apply for those positions or to be considered for those positions, it is a lot more diverse and the playing field is a lot more open. You know,
True.
so I don't know if I got my point across the way that I wanted it to, but like, That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's how even I see it. That it's see there's like your intent shows when
Hmm.
you're being say a place that accepts diversity, right?
Hmm.
It has to be like a merit-based diversity. It cannot be like, oh, we are a diverse place, because if see, the more you're going to be like, oh my God, look at us, we are that friendly, we are this friendly, right?
Hmm.
I'd say the more you do that, the more it doesn't come off with that intent. It just comes off as, hey, we hire these many this people. You know how, like, if you just say, okay, we accept all diversity, it just means that, okay, we are not going to reject a job to you solely because of who you are,
Hmm.
right? And instead of like posting your numbers out there, like, oh my God, we hired these many people from this community in the past, I believe like a better way of going about it is just a plain old, okay, you know what, we're diverse, that's it. How much do we hire? Well, it is kind of not anybody's business. What if you don't get like that many diverse people who want to apply at your firm, or like who want to go for that field
I get it. Yeah.
to
And
a
stuff.
different gender? Yeah.
But I agree with what Nano said, where the percentage of people who you hire, if that percentage is less than the percentage of diversity, like the actual population makeup, then I don't know, man. It's weird. It's
Say anything.
I mean, coming from like a purely, you know, brain perspective, I would say that there are certain restrictions too when people are like under the age of 18.
Mm.
I mean, I think it's very much about like the contract side of things too. Like if you're a consenting adult, that's also where it comes into picture. I
hmm.
think, yeah, I mean, that's what,
Yeah,
right?
but like,
Even when you sign a contract, if you're a minor, your parent has to agree to it.
yeah, but
So,
like what Nano said, like the parent have an opinion, but like there is a concern where there are like super woke parents who make the decision, like even though the kid like they don't know what's the best for them, they're like super
yeah.
woke parents making
Yeah,
like
but then see,
bad decisions.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, right?
Like I said, but
Wh-
still I can't answer this.
Parents make decisions for their kids all the time, right?
Yeah,
Period. They do it on the best of their ability, the best of their knowledge as how to be a parent. That's the first thing, right? So to question that based on whatever decision they make, right? Whether it's what food to give them, what kind of um,
Maybe.
uh, place to take them to party, what amusement park to go to, whatever else, right? They make all the decisions, and they are none of those things are questions, right? So when it comes to like, here's my opinion on it as a cis person. So I feel like firstly as a cis person, I shouldn't fucking have a decision. I shouldn't have an opinion on this, but I shouldn't, my opinion shouldn't matter. That's the first thing, right? Same thing with the pads thing, where I am not a woman or I'm not someone with a uterus, so my opinion should not matter. But since we've been asked,
yeah,
what I personally believe is
yeah,
that, one, a decision between the doctor, the child, and the parents, right? That's the first thing. Secondly, parents make decisions all the time. That's the second thing. Whatever they decide is a thing. Thirdly, for me, in my whatever, the decision to take puberty blockers or to look, I don't know if surgery is viable before 18. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Right? I'm not talking about surgery. I'm talking about taking medication to stop puberty so that you can figure out what you want to do once you get older, or whenever, really. So I feel like Nano said, um, puberty blockers do save lives. It has been documented that,
case by
and
case. Yeah, it should be
it,
like so.
yeah,
Like I said, I don't even
I
know. Like I can't say anything about it because like
mm,
I've never had first-hand experience
yeah,
with any of
exactly.
this. So like I don't think I'm a good person to answer this question. And I don't know about like unicorn. Like if you have like friends, like maybe see
I
my girlfriend is trans, but I can't talk about because she doesn't like talking about it. You get it?
Which is
So
very valid.
yeah,
Everybody
so
has
I
their
can't. I
own
don't want to like
things.
press her and all that stuff. So
Uh,
yeah,
eh,
she doesn't like
yeah.
being put in the spotlight too. So yeah. So I
So, like,
can't answer this question. Like
Yeah.
no idea.
See, it has to be the decision ultimately has to be between the doctor, the parent, and the child, and the therapist, and everybody else.
Yeah.
Puberty blockers, if they want to take, that is what they need. But like what I was trying to say is that if you believe your gender is different from the gender you were assigned to at birth, and you don't take the blockers necessary for to block transition during puberty, especially, right? Where when you're in puberty, you as oh fuck man, I forgot what happens during puberty, right? You get taller, you have growth in your breast, you grow hair in places, all that shit that happens, right? Some of those things, like society, whatever, assumes that women should be shorter, right? If you're 6'3" and you don't you don't want to be that tall, if and you could have taken puberty blockers as a kid to avoid getting that tall. All of those things, all of those questions, right? I personally, again, as someone who is not trans, I cannot speak to it. But like,
Yeah.
it has to be a decision that is made between, like I said, the doctor, the therapist, the patient, the child, and the parents, right? And everybody else can fuck right off because it is none of our business, right? If you have a trans kid, or if you have a kid who thinks they might be trans, then you have a say in it. If you don't, then fuck right off. Like, I'm saying that to myself too. I should have no opinion in whether the neighbor kid next door wants to take puberty blockers or not, or even a kid living 5,000 miles away, because irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, I see what Nick is also talking about, because he was talking about like life-altering surgeries,
Mm.
right? And we went from like that to the question of puberty blockers. I believe that puberty blockers are like a much healthier option for somebody who is not sure, or like, who is a minor, because at the end of the day, if they're a legally consenting adult and they can take care of themselves, they can do whatever they want with their life.
Mm.
And they can even sign contracts. So legally, and like also from like a dev brain development perspective, I think after being a legal adult, um, any life-altering decision should be given to the person. But till that time, puberty blockers actually do rock, because you do have the choice of going either way. So yeah, I mean, as long as, and also as long as like we are all trying to understand each other, um, you know, it just works.
Mm. It's difficult to have like a one rule fits all kind of thing,
Yeah.
because every person is different, every situation is different, everything is different. So which is why I think it's a good idea where you have it as a thing where you have a conversation, you figure out what's the best version for each individual situation, and then you come up with a solution for that, instead of having like a blanket thing where oh, under 18 you can't do this, or under 12 you can't do this, or fuck this, and you have to be whatever to whatever. Like, some rules I get, like you can't drink, you can't vote under certain ages. That makes
I
sense.
agree. And
But
what
like,
said.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like the other things, it just is, I don't know, man. Uh, so we've talked about this. We've touched on this round in circles, but like directly to the point. Um, what has your experience been like being out in India? On and what does it mean for you to be like queer in a country like India?
On Twitch, it's fine for me because like nobody I know uses Twitch. And I even know like even people in my circle wouldn't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So like especially because like most of my family are like from Muslim background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't practice though. I am agnostic. So and I know they wouldn't accept it because yeah. So like I'm afraid to come out. It's for me. It's like I've never come out like to my like close like I've come out to one of my cousins. He's really supportive. I've come out to one of my friends and that's it. In the IRL, that's it. But on Twitch, yeah, I'm open. 'Cause I know nobody I know uses Twitch. And yeah, that's it for me. What about you guys?
Uh, for me, I am mostly out, like as long as my family doesn't know about it. you know. I also like kind of think that it's, I mean, in India at least, I think it's hush hush, but at the same time very out and about. I
Hmm.
don't know if that makes sense to you guys or not. Like it's like every time I'd go out on a date with a woman, like there was this one time I was out on a date and like my previous roommate, she was also bi, but I didn't come out to her then. She just came to see, she was also at the same place and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing over here?" And I've never seen this person in college. Who are they?
Hmm.
So, you know, uh I was like, "Oh, well, I'm out on a date." And then it became an entire thing, you know? So it's kind of hush hush, but at the same time, it just goes as whatever. I mean, I was living in an all girls hostel for like quite some time, even like my first year of uni. And like this another person that I was, you know, seeing sort of like we were
Hmm.
talking. And she was very much like, "Oh, you know what? The hostel people wouldn't give a fuck because I'm a woman."
Hmm.
So, it's kind of hush hush because like nobody suspects a thing, but at the same time, if you're like out and about, then everybody looks at you weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's same thing with like Atlantis said, like same for me, man. I like at least in like I think Atlantis is from Kerala, right? I talked to him yesterday on stream. In Kerala, man, like even the whole like even movie culture, right? Being gay is like they base jokes around it, uh, and like even like like using like slang words, like as in like being gay is like they use as a slang word. It's
Hmm.
something bad. It's like yeah, so it's the whole mentality, like even and telling about like what's it called, moral policing. That's why I'm not able to come out for me being like it's mainly the society, right? It's not because I'm ashamed of being pan or like I'm ashamed of being gay or like anything like that. It's more like what how they would react. Like I told you, like on how on YouTube I can't come out. I would
Yeah.
get like toxic audience. I would get like like even on, I'm not saying Twitch is the best place, but it is a better place. Mm.
Guys, I'll have to go now. I have to travel very early in the morning.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Bye bye.
Um, Bye, guys. It was
Thank
Have
fun.
fun in New York
thank you
Thank
so
you. It
much
was
and
for
get
fun
some
talking
taking
to you.
pizza.
time.
He said he told you about some pizza. Get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just text me the address. I'll go and try it. But yeah, thank you so much for having me over. Thanks,
Send food
chat as
pics.
well. Bye. I will.
Bye.
I'll put it. I'll share it with you now that we are Discord friends.
Okay. Can you send you like I think it's on your Discord, right? Your Twitch. So if you stream, I can check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this as unique. I'm gonna drop a follow.
Thank you so much. I'll do the same. Bye,
Yeah. You don't have
potato.
to just check
Bye,
out the.
pants.
Yeah.
Bye, Unicorn.
Bye bye.
Thank you for being here.
Take care.
You too, guys. Bye.
Have safe travel. Okay. Yeah. You, Steve. You talk about like what your experience was.
I I don't know. I feel like I got really lucky in like the whole being out department when I first came out.
Mm,
My best friend, I talked about this earlier. My best friend was very welcoming. My friends were very welcoming. I got like a little bit of shit from like my college friends. They called me Mr. Pansexual for like a week straight.
mm,
But like, it wasn't really like a big whatever.
mm,
Um, and I've never really fuck what's the word? I've never really had the whatever to uh what damn it, what is it called? Like the urge to like, be out everywhere because I openly I pass as straight or like as cis or
You.
whatever all the time. I've just been out forever and I've never really had like an experience where luckily enough where it's been a bad experience for me being out or like I've been bullied for it or whatever. I think something I wanted to touch on from earlier where when Roy was talking about how people still use hijra or gay as an insult. When I was in high school, um, a lot of that is what I had to go through. It's it's frustrating when I think about it, but like I was just so desperate trying to fit in with this group of people who I thought were my friends.
Yeah,
And I would
same
let
for me. I get
yeah,
you.
I would let them walk all over me just so that I could get some semblance of something from them, you know. And we used to play this charades, Damsharad, whatever game, and you know when you start a countdown for like 10 seconds left for you to guess the movie or whatever, whenever they would count down to six, right? Instead of saying six, they would say my name because six means chakka, and that's the slur that they used for me. And this is when I was like, what, 14, 15. So like I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't even know why they were saying it. All I knew is that they were using it as an insult, and they're using it to insult me, right? And it wasn't till like later, way later, when I was like, huh, so I was being shit on, and I never registered it. So that's like the only real instance where it's been like, oh my god, fuck, I was being uh, bullied, or people were being homophobic to me. And this is before I was even out, before I even knew what it meant like to be out. So I don't know, it just
Yeah, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that shit.
yeah, it's whatever, man. I was 14, like fucking 15 years ago at this point. Well, okay, I'm not that old. It was 11 years ago at this point. But still, it stings sometimes, you know. So that's like the worst case scenario that I actually went through. But like now, when I think about it, you know, it's like, you know what the worst part is? The worst part is when you see these movies, right? The movies with, I think Atlantis is here. The movies with fuck, what is called, with like when bullies are bullies are in high school, the people who are bullies, they get shit on as they're older, and they don't get to thrive, or they don't whatever, and it gives you like a perspective on like karma is like a big thing or whatever. But like i I look at these people who bullied me as a kid. They're living thriving lives. They're happy, they're successful, they're content. They are doing so much better than I am. But I'm struggling to keep myself together, to keep my shit together. I don't have a fucking job. I haven't worked. I'm gonna stop talking because this is gonna get depressing, and I don't want this to be depressing. So, but yeah, as an adult, it's
Yeah, I feel
been
you.
yeah, as an adult, it's been a lot
Everybody has
better.
their ups and downs.
Anyway,
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you.
hello,
Hi.
Atlantis. How are you doing?
Hey, Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing good.
So, who are you and why are you here?
I'm at I'm Atlantis Dew, and why am I here? I'm being one of the panels. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
temporary panels, emergency panels.
Okay. No, actually, I did talk to like Steve about like how you're like I was watching your content yesterday, right? And Steve was like he
Yeah.
was not sure whether you would be want to part of it.
The thing is, like, I don't
Yeah,
want anyone to find out that I'm
yeah,
bi,
it's
right?
understandable, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Especially being in Kerala. Oh my God.
Yeah. I live in Kerala, and I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
I'm a Muslim. I don't
Same,
believe.
bro.
I mean,
Same,
I mean,
same of me.
yeah.
See how like Steve, you get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an
Being
atheist. I'm an atheist. I don't follow God or anything. But
same.
my
No, no.
family
I'm
is
agnostic, not
really,
atheist.
yeah, my
Agnostic.
family is really, my mom is really religious. So I don't want people finding out.
I feel
I,
you.
it'll be horrible. So
Yeah, I feel you, man.
if I come out, two things are gonna happen. My dad will shoot me with his service pistol.
Oof.
In the police?
Oh,
Oof.
yeah, he was in the Bahrain police, so he still has a service pistol.
No, that.
In yeah, or my mom is gonna kick me out of the house. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you, man.
The thing with, like, Indian parents is like they care more about their pride.
And the
Yeah,
reputation,
they
yes,
care
yeah.
about what other people think rather than like
Yeah,
their feelings.
they care about their own pride.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, I was talking to about Steve too, like about like how being like in a Muslim family not the best place to be cure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's shit, and like especially like when like our religion it shuns it very badly and like portrays it as like a very bad thing, like you go to hell and all that shit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, like do you
You'll
want
only go to hell if you believe in hell. I don't believe in hell.
to? Yeah, Steve, do you want to get like ask him like the questions that you asked like earlier, asked to
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
Atlantis Dew getting disowned and dealt with.
so at least like people can know like more about Atlantis.
Yeah, I'm by, Nick. Yes, I am by.
I think
If
the
I
questions
even if I come out, my parents will still be in denial. Like they will not even believe me in the beginning. Like even if I do that, they don't even know the entire concept of this LGBT. First of all, and they're like literally what do you call traditional
mm,
Indian parents.
of the
All right.
Muslims. Yeah.
I send a
Let's let's
transcript.
let's let's start with the basic one. What made you start streaming?
Okay, I wanted to stream since 2012 because, like, as soon as I finished my 12th grade, I went to college. Then I wanted to stream. So it's like, no. But the thing is, I lived in a hostel. I didn't have good internet. The internet was expensive when in college. So I couldn't stream. But like I wanted to for a long time. And even I tried around like 2014 something. I tried to stream with mobile data.
Hmm.
Imagine. And I was like, nope, this is not gonna work. Every day I'll have to recharge. That's so much money. Then I kind of gave up on the idea of streaming. But then I decided, okay, I'm playing League of Legends. Why not I make League of Legends videos? And I actually started YouTube stuff like League of Legends YouTube videos. I got around, my channel actually got monetized, and I was like pretty happy. Then suddenly YouTube decided to change their guidelines, and my channel got demonetized again.
Oh, sad.
Then I was like, okay, I gave up on that as well. Then as soon as I like came back, I mean, recently, like few months ago, I got new internet connection, which is really fast. I'm like, wow, all right. I got my new laptop, which is actually really amazing laptop. I was like, okay, since I have the means to stream and I'm jobless, I'll just give it a shot. That's how I started streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's a long story. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's pretty
wanted to
cool.
stream for a long time. Yeah.
I didn't know about the YouTube stuff. That's pretty cool, huh? All right. How
What
has
is it?
what was your first introduction to queer content or to content that
Content?
is or like content as in streams, TV shows, movies, whatever, music?
Uh, pure content. Content. Let me think real quick. Can you give me an example of something? I don't. Nothing comes to my mind at the moment.
Like something like
Your content creator that you know, or like
Oh, content creator that I know.
no, not necessarily
or
content creator,
or
or like
like
content movies that that is like had like really
like
portrays
Sense8
pureness.
or
Uh,
Schitt's Creek or whatever.
yeah, anything, any content as that is pure. Like,
Hmm.
Or like
I really cannot like think about anything.
okay.
valid. What kind of TV shows do you like to watch or movies do you like to watch in general?
I usually watch anime stuff, to be honest. Animes and K dramas.
Makes sense.
Makes absolute sense. Yeah.
No wonder you love Genshin so much.
Oh,
Of
weave.
course.
Okay, leave me alone.
I do love Genshin, but I'm not a weeb. I've watched only probably three like animes.
Oh, only three. Come on, my
Yeah,
anime list. My anime list is around 2,400 at the moment.
yeah. My
Holy
brother is
shit.
a huge weeb too. I mean, what do I have watched? Death Note. I watched One Punch Man. I watched some Nichijou. You know Nichijou, right?
Hmm.
My girlfriend recommend. I think my girlfriend has a whole list of like animes she likes. And
I kind of watch a lot of shoujo animes, which is like shoujo animes are like animes which are focused towards girls. I have a slight feminine side to me, like that's the thing. I cannot show that like IRL. That's a problem. So I tend to like more feministic kind of things, like the color pink and stuff. Like you can see this profile picture is pink, my stream overlay is pink, all of those things. You get pissed if we mention mainstream animes. Yes, of course, Digital Sparrow. You're right. Did I get disconnected?
no, you're not disconnected. It's just
Okay, what's the next question?
okay. Next question. What else there is in the list? Then like as a pure content creator, what's your experience on like Twitch or like YouTube or like
Uh,
being openly LGBTQIA plus?
yeah, whenever people ask me why do you have the LGBTQI tag, I'll just tell them like, yeah, because I belong to the community. I don't go on elaborating things because my sister has my Twitch link, my brother has my Twitch link, so I don't want them finding out either. So I just tell them I belong to the community. That's all. And so far, nothing bad has happened in that terms. It's been 3 months of streaming on Twitch. In the future, I don't know what's going to happen. So let's continue as how it is going on.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, I know we've touched on this, but like it's what advice would you give to people, to streamers in the Indian community or anywhere else who would like to who, fuck, who want to come out.
Would love to fuck.
God damn it, who are considering coming out, or who are worried, or who want to know, or who something along those lines.
It completely depends on their society and their parents, the view, their cultural views and stuff. Because if I don't know what community, what society they belong to, then I cannot give them any advice. To be honest, for example, Muslim community, please don't come out. You might end up dead. I'm serious.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
serious like lynching stuff happening and yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all depends on their society. That's the thing.
Yeah.
India is massive. India is huge. There's so many different types of cultural traditions and all those things.
I would say like in terms of like coming out, like maybe on like some platform that where you're safe to come out, do that.
Yeah, I mean, there are
At least
see like Twitch. I don't mind talking about my sexuality on Twitch or on Discord. Like no, because some people, a lot of people in India doesn't know about these platforms, Twitch and Discord. They don't even know. Only few of them knows. Yeah, so it's so safe to come out on Twitch and Discord, these platforms. But like Facebook, don't do it. YouTube, probably don't do it. And YouTube has hate. YouTube has hatred towards LGBTQ. Because it's not it's not YouTube having YouTube having
the audience.
the,
I mean,
because no, it's not about the audience. Because
mainly
the
kids.
audience,
That's the thing.
no, it's a massive audience. YouTube has a massive audience.
Yeah.
It's just a part of those audience being homophobic. That's it.
That's the thing, right? The problem with big communities like this is you can't control every single aspect of it. Even if the community, I don't know, man, like I talk about this shit, right? About how the last 3 weeks I lost one of my closest friends because, and my community is not that big, dude. We're almost barely at 1,000 followers. We're like 100 people in the Discord. It's not like it's a huge platform, but like even there, it seeps in. So it is. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Do it. It should be on a case by case basis. You cannot just be put like a blanket statement out for any of this shit, you know, like, but I think like the advice that I would like to give, you know, is like, it's one thing about, you know, coming out is like, it's like a whole thing. Don't do it till you're 100% certain you're going to be safe. Once you do, that's the first thing.
Yes. You have
Second,
to make.
yeah,
You have to be sure that you will be 100% safe if you come out, and think about it like first.
Yeah.
and
India, man, shit place to come out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And secondly, the other thing that I would like to say is just that, you know, just because you're not out doesn't make you any less of whatever identity you are.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
it is so many times people are like, you're not yourself, whatever, till you come out. Fuck that shit, man. You are who you are, whether you choose to come out or not. Whether you're in the closet, whether you're dancing naked in Vegas, whether you're averagely moderate in between, whatever your way of self-expression is. It could be as simple as dyeing one strand of your hair purple to signify that that's what you do. It could be as whatever, right? And the flip side is also, if you think that coming out is going to cause you problems, but you want to be out anyway, don't let that dissuade you, because you can always cut people out of your fucking life, because nobody fucking matters at the end of the day except for your own fucking happiness.
Yeah.
So if you can feasibly cut those people out of your life and you want to be out, fucking do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. But what about family?
Fuck family, dude. Like I would go so far as to, you know, it if you can. I'm not saying everybody can do it, right? I'm saying if you can feasibly afford to do it, fuck family. Because if it's a decision between your own mental health and mental stability, where you cannot be yourself because of the hatred in the house that you live in, versus leaving and being able to be yourself and being happy, right? It's that divide, right? It's that trade-off. You decide, is it what is more important to you? Is it being yourself, being out, being 100% yourself, or is it a family that is going to constrict you and make you claustrophobic and hang a noose around your neck, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? I'm not saying everybody should leave their families. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying,
if your family continues being a support system and don't
yeah,
abuse you, or like they're cool with what you are doing, like respect your choice, it's fine, you know. But like if your family, you come out and your family starts mentally abusing you or like abusing you physically, yeah, cut them off. Like, yeah,
yeah,
I agree with, you know, Steve. Like,
Yeah, you also need the means to, like,
exactly.
financial
get away
independence, yeah.
get away before you cut them off. Don't cut them off first and just suffer
Yeah,
later.
true.
Yeah.
What if it's ignorance? Like, what do you mean, like ignorance? As in, I
As
don't
in
know. Like,
what?
see, if you're not happy, like if you're mentally suffering being in a family, or not happy being there, I mean, move out, right? That's the better option. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not your responsibility or your job to educate people on their own bigotry or whatever bullshit, right? Because
Yeah, true.
it's not how it works. It's you need to worry about yourself first, right? And I know that's a very foreign concept for a lot of Indian people, but like, your own mental happiness and mental stability comes before your family. It should come before your family, no matter how much they're like, oh, this is blasphemy or this is dishonor on your family and on your cow. Who gives a fuck? It is it doesn't matter if they're ignorant, if they're toxic, if they don't believe in you, if they think you're invalid, whatever. Fuck that. You know, your own, like, I know this sounds very radical, but like, if it's, I don't know, man, it's I personally would cut off. I have cut off my family for things less than this.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't talk to my grandfather anymore, except when I have to go home. But that's because I have no choice, because we live under the same roof. Like, I don't talk to him for multiple reasons. One of which is because he's an absolute fucking piece of shit. You know, and I say that about him openly, because he is. You know, and not because of him being transphobic or biphobic or homophobic or whatever, because he doesn't even know. But like, because my entire fucking childhood, I have dealt with his shit, right? So at this point, it's like I don't care. I really don't care about you, about whatever your whatever is, and I talk to him twice a year, once on my birthday, once on his birthday. That's it. That is the only contact we have. Even though, dude, I haven't spoken to my own mother in 6 months, because every time we talk, it's always you're wasting your life away. You're not doing anything decent with your life. Why can't you uh, be a normal child and get a job where you sit behind a desk and you kill and you work yourself to the bone and you die on your table with keto or whatever, right? Or why don't you lose some weight, you fat fuck? That's all the conversation we have. So I was like, fuck it. If that's all that you want to talk to me about, then fuck off. I don't care. I'm out. And that's what I did. The last time I spoke to her was properly when I spoke to her was March or April. And it's not like, I'm fine with it. I genuinely am upset about it. But
Yeah.
if that is the solution that I have, is the only way to keep myself safe, keep my own mental sanity in check, then I have to do that thing. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I've never talked about this on stream, by the way. So
So yeah. So Nick, yeah, if your family values the society's happiness more than your happiness, cut them off. That's it. Simple as that. Like being ignorant or anything. Like if they respect your choice, then it's fine. As long as you're happy being there and it doesn't affect your mental health, it's your choice to whether stay with your family or not. But yeah, if you have a lot of pros, in terms of pros, like I don't know, yeah, again depends on person to person. Maybe you being in a family, you say, let's say like a very influential person, they might have like a lot of pros in terms of being. I didn't mean family by the way, I meant friends and acquaintance. Family is different beast. Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, again, Indian thing with like a lot of Indians is like they think family is very revered and you should cut your happiness for family. But I don't feel like that way. Like I agree with Steve, your happiness is more important than what your family's happiness is. Let's say your family is more happy with you not being gay. Would you stop being gay? No, right? Yeah, that's what like yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, it depends on person to person. So like see, I wouldn't like judge a person for staying with their family even if their family is not supportive. It's their choice. Yeah, a friend who doesn't love you because you never came out, never a friend anyway. Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, like I cut off a lot of my friends because I know they're homophobic. So I know like if I come out, they will never accept me. Then why should I be with them, right? Yeah.
Yes, I only have only few of my real life friends knows that I'm queer because like I trust them, like trust them too much and they support me. That's it.
Mhm.
Like really, really close. None of them, like no other friends. I'm not even ready to tell them that I'm queer. Like it's
And like I
impossible.
understand Atlantis
Impossible
point.
to even think. Yeah.
Yeah, in Kerala, yeah, man. See, like even now, like like so being gay, like they call kundan, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's used like like what something bad, or like it's like it is something bad, and like people, it's like a slang
It's
word.
like yes, a slang word.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, yeah. So being out in
Or
Kerala,
they or also they use the number like
yeah,
number
like,
nine.
like you're trans, or like if you have a feminine side, you're like trans. Like people don't understand. They don't want to understand. They never try to understand. Then
okay. So what I would like to say, one last question: what improvements would you like to see for Indian LGBTQ people in the next 10, 20 years?
Uh, Marriages improve the way how they get married, like with discreet what do you call it? Getting married discreetly. That's what I'm talking about. Like if, for example, like when you normally get married in a registered office, your like certificate is pasted in that office for almost a month or month or two. But like if you don't want anyone to find out and you want to get registered married to someone else of like same gender or something like that, then the government should help us don't do like discrete marriages. Like people, it should not be publicly displayed. The marriage certificate should not be publicly displayed.
I'm confused though, because how did they even, like, it literally says same-sex marriages are not legally recognized in India. So how did this happen?
Yeah, because it's the society, it's the people
No, but it
sitting
says they
inside
are
that
not
government
legally
office.
recognized. It said it's
What
not
do you mean?
legally recognized.
It is, right?
No, unions are recognized, marriages are not. Like a civil union, that's what
I'm not sure about
that's what the link says.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, like the
You
first
can't get him.
the first occasion, the first Gurgaon court recognized lesbian marriage in 2017. No, 2011. What? 2011, yes. But
So yeah,
they're not.
even if they like can't issue a marriage certificate, it should not be like they call the parents.
No, that
Right?
I get, but like
Yeah.
if you legally cannot get a certificate, I'm confused as
Okay,
to
you
why.
Sure? I
As
don't
to
know. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Like, I
so
don't
then
know.
what's the point? Then what's the point of making it legalized if you can't get married?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
legalized as in you can have sex, so without like worry of going to jail. That's the thing.
Why would
Like
you go? Why would
it's
you
like,
go
no,
to
no.
jail for
Yeah,
that?
no, because it's criminalized in a lot of countries. For example, like
Yeah.
let's say Saudi,
Oh
Kuwait,
yeah,
like
Saudi.
criminalized.
Yeah. So
So
if
yeah,
you do this in
they
Saudi,
decriminalized it and now legalized it. But I
yeah.
think in terms of marriage certificate, I don't think so. I'm not sure though. Okay.
If
But yeah,
you
it
do
is.
this in Saudi or any Arab countries, you are basically gonna
Yeah,
rot in
existing as a gay person is legal. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
not gay,
that's
okay.
what it is. Yeah. In terms of rights, I mean, rights is a joke. Like for example, let's say even transgenders, they got their rights in on paper, right? They are supposed to be issued Aadhaar cards, but even now they discriminate when they go to government offices, and a lot of shit happens.
Yeah,
Like
until today, I thought that marriages were legal.
I don't know about anything about the law. Plus, I don't care about the Indian law. It's just a joke.
Yes, I mean, yeah, same. I don't
I
even
mean,
care.
even if Supreme Court says this is you can do this, it's just what society. Yeah, like I think Nick said it right. Law of the like what's it called? Huge people, like a lot of people gathering. That's what the law is. If you have a majority, that's the law. You can do anything you want. Yeah, law of the large numbers. That's what's happening in India.
Who is good with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like
Twitch
I
happens.
I said this today as well. Uh, I was very close to canceling today's session. I was
Really?
yeah, like I wasn't feeling it. The company that I was supposed to work with, that fell through. Um, I I had a bad day, a bad morning. So like I was very close to being like, fuck it, we're done. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be part of this shit anymore. But I'm glad that I decided to push through because I had a good time. I like seriously, you guys are absolutely incredible. I am so glad that I've gotten to meet so many amazing people from the LGBT community, but like so many amazing people in general on Twitch. The last year plus has been an absolutely wild ride.
How did I meet you?
Through Envy,
Is it? Yeah, I
yeah,
think Envy raided you or something,
yeah,
right?
or yeah, I saw you in Envy stream a couple of times, and I followed you. I think you followed me back, and then that's how it happened.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm so grateful for this. Like it's not easy. Streaming is not easy. No matter what anybody will tell you, streaming is not fucking easy. Like especially when you have days when you don't, when you just cannot breathe, where you just feel like there is no matter what you do, there is nothing that you get in return or whatever else. There's so much ups and downs that happen with streaming. I feel like it is because of people like you guys, because of the entire community that gives me drive and motivation to keep going. Because I don't think I would be here without this community. Like I would have given up in a month, like everything else I've done. I say this a lot, and I get very sad about this shit because like I've never had friends. I've never had like a unit, like a group of people who I could consider like my own. So like now
Yeah, like
this
see,
thing.
having it's like the whole thing, like having large amount of friends is good, is just a misconception, to be honest. Because I've had, so let's say I've had like a lot of friends,
Mm,
everybody in college used to know me and all that shit, but it's just like a false sense of security that you are popular,
It's
like,
not friends. Those are
like
acquaintances.
yeah, just I mean, like I've had a lot of fake people in my life, so I right now I tend to cut off people. I have probably three close friends probably now, but back in the day, before like all this realization, like I've had, like I told you, like I've had like my bad days, and like when I was like going through a shit phase, there was nobody, all these so-called friends, and like like all these guys who's like, Macha, will be there for you, and all these guys never there. So yeah, having a huge amount of friends, what's more important than having a huge amount of friends is having two people or three people who are really close to you.
yeah.
Or
No, I
like
get
maybe
that.
five,
I
six
get that.
people who
No,
are really close to you
no, but
and
that
get
was
you and like, are there in times of need.
yeah.
And you are there for them too. And like, yeah.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say, right? I never had any of that. I never had like except like Zero. Zero's the only friend that I've ever
Yeah.
had. But like it's never been like, a group of people or like even two, three people who I could consider as friends. But like Twitch has changed so much about it. It's just given me so much more joy. Like my life is so much happier because of you guys, because of this community that we've built. And I say we've built because like I don't like to take credit because I didn't do it myself. It was all of us, all of you that all of us got together. Like I know Pareto, we just met. It's only been like a week, not even been a week, but I still feel like
Yeah.
I've gotten to know you so much. I would like to wrap up soon. Do we have any questions in chat?
Yeah, questions, chats.
Kiss on the forehead, bro, love. Nano, I think I am the kind of the person who's like, instead of bro love, it's more like a bro job. That is the kind of thing that I am kind of more leaning towards.
Bro,
Uh,
joke, all right.
Simply because, like, why wouldn't you kiss your homies goodnight, right? Why wouldn't you, if they have an itch they can't scratch, why wouldn't you scratch it for them? You know, if they need a little bit of a Gok 3000 with the twisty wisty glizzy 4000, why not help out when you can?
Can you?
I mean, I sure, come over. Yeah,
Can
go
we
ahead.
explain?
Open
I
Oh
might. I
question
no.
might.
panel
Can you
for
ask
anybody.
explicit questions? What kind of explicit questions?
Kids, get out of kids, get away from the chat.
Kind of serious questions. Sorry for the
Shoo, shoo.
offensive. Wireless cute. I don't know, man. Genetics.
Why you're all so cute?
I don't
Wait,
think he has seen me in real life.
tomorrow Sassy will be even cuter with this new PNG.
Chat is cute
No,
too. Chat is nice. You guys are
I
real nice.
That is cute, yes.
Yeah, you have a nice chat, Steve.
today is an exception, but thank you. You guys are pretty cool. But yeah, if you wanna actually go see cute people, Atlantis and Potato both stream, and they both actually have faces, unlike me, where I am the best, and I'm gonna say this very clearly. I am the best faceless and pantsless streamer from India. That is who I am. Objectively, without a doubt, I have that title, and I'm going to keep that title till I fucking decide to do a face reveal at 10,000 subs, which is going to happen by 2027. That is my goal.
10,000
I'm
subs.
giving
All right.
myself 5 years.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, and if I don't hit it by then, I will quit. I will retire. Okay, that is maybe too far. Yeah, but
Oh wait,
Get,
there
let's
is
get 5
a
million
hold
points.
on. Yeah, 5 million points also is face reveal.
yeah, but like to get to 5 million points, Epic Vivek just hit 100,000. Okay, no wait.
Do
He
one
hit
thing.
200.
Give like 500 subs. I don't know.
He just hit 200,000 points, right, Vivek? And he's been here since January. So it took him 9 months, 8 months to get to 200,000. With how much he binges me all the time. So if you do the math to get to 5 million, it will take you 25 times 8 months. Do the math. That's how long it will take. So karo.
I'm at 30K right now. It's gonna take a fuck ton of time.
10K easy. It was supposed to be a joke, okay? Somebody asked me in chat, they were like, when are we going to do a face reveal? And I was like, I don't know, 10,000 subs. It was supposed to be a joke. And this happened like the first week of streaming before I even hit affiliate. And it just took a life of its own. And now it's become a meme. So like I lean into it because it's funny. Anyway, so I just want to say thank you to all of you. Potato, Atlantis, Unicorn, you guys are incredible. Today has been a very, very good day. I'm genuinely so grateful for all of it. Do you guys have anything to say to wrap up?
Yeah, no, me nothing.
Thank you, chat, for being cute.
Yeah. I feel like we need this more, like, maybe once a month.
Yes, I agree. And I think instead
and have
of
more panelists, like
instead of it being here on my stream, I would like to do it where every month a different person hosts it.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
So that all of us get the exposure from it, right? We I want to do this as a thing where we can uplift each other and not just about for myself, which is So yeah. All right. So I just want to say again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for today. This was an incredible Independence Day. You guys are absolutely pogged. But we're going to do more of this shit. I promise. I want to do more of these panels. Just talk about, being gay, about being queer and the joy that it brings us and just being ourselves. I'm hoping to do at least one of these a month, if not more, because and get more people on, get different voices, diverse voices as much as possible, because it's like fucking, I love this shit. This is why I started streaming, to this, talk about these things and to fucking get different opinions and experiences and to just hear from people who have similar but different, but also so much similar experiences and vibes as I do. It's just, that's basically it. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. IST. We're going to be playing Spider-Man tomorrow, 8 p.m. IST. Remember that. I'm going to start a new save on Spider-Man and we're going to kick ass and we're going to have a lot of fun. Steve out.